his funeral. The procession included cardinals, priests, and members of the Swiss Guard who walked the casket from the chapel of Casa Santa Marta, his residence, to St. Peter's. The procession passed through St. Peter's Square, up the stairs, and through the central door of the basilica.
As Fox's Alex Hogan, the funeral will be Saturday. Another stock market rebound is brewing. Dow futures up more than 700 points before this hour's opening bell. Reacting to President Trump saying he is not trying to get Jerome Powell removed as Federal Reserve Chairman.
Never did. The press runs away with things. No, I have no intention of firing him.
President Trump says he'd like to see Powell be more active in lowering interest rates. The president has called Powell a loser, and earlier this month said his termination cannot come fast enough.
Fox's Jared Halpern of the White House. The Dow plunged Monday on fears of a Powell firing, then surged up 1,000 points yesterday on word the president plans to de-escalate the trade war with China at some point, bringing tariffs on imports lower. The Trump administration is on deadline to answer a judge by this evening in a controversial mistaken deportation case.
The Maryland judge overseeing the case of suspected MS-13 member Kilmer Abrego Garcia is accusing the Trump administration of acting in willful and bad faith. The judge had ordered the administration to provide daily updates on the steps they're taking to bring Abrego Garcia back from El Salvador, but is now accusing them of violating that order.
Fox's Brooke Singman. The administration insists that Kilmer Abrego Garcia is a gang member and should not be brought back from El Salvador, where he was sent last month with other alleged gang members. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why this highway sometimes feels like the Indianapolis 500. You have a clear radar and it's 49 degrees. In downtown Indianapolis, your high today, 80. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending at 9:02. If you're familiar with I-465, then you know that people do not drive the speed limit. Political leaders say they want to make your life a little bit easier by increasing that speed limit from 55 to 65. In fact, there's a bill sitting on the governor's desk right now waiting for a signature so that could become law. Police say that interstate sees frequent crashes and that speed often plays a role. A man shot and killed this morning in Lawrence. Police say the shooting happened in a neighborhood not far from East 46 and North Franklin Road. The man was found lying dead in a shed. A person has been detained for questioning, and we're expecting to hear more soon. Quick thinking saved a child's life after a fentanyl overdose on Tuesday. Chris Davis has the story.
A high school student in the Perry Township district is alive only because two nurses saw what was happening and administered naloxone. It took 2 doses to bring that student around after they overdosed on fentanyl. That was lacing a THC vape pen the student used. That happened Tuesday. Superintendent Patrick Spray praised the nurses and says that should help illustrate the dangers of vaping. School district police nabbed the people responsible for selling the vape.
Gas prices fluctuating this morning, says AAA. You could get gas for about $3 a gallon around the capital city this morning. It was a night full of tension and drama at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and the Indiana Pacers beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Here's John Herrick.
The Pacers took a 2-0 lead in this first-round NBA playoff series. Before the game, an anonymous NBA player poll came out from The Athletic. Some players in that poll said Pacer guard Tyrese Halliburton was one of the league's most overrated players. That didn't sit well with Halliburton's head coach, Rick Carlisle.
I want to see the guys' faces that voted those guys. This is a poll. Not everybody even answered in the poll.
The Pacers were led by Pascal Siakam with 24 points and 11 rebounds in Game 2, while Halliburton had 21 points, 12 assists, and 5 rebounds. Game 3 is Friday night in Milwaukee. Reporting from Gainbridge Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis, John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the NFL Draft gets going on Thursday in Green Bay. The Indianapolis Colts have the 14th pick in the first round. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level on the go and at WIBC.com. With your traffic, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Ryan, south side crash eastbound of 465 after US 31. It just cleared. Traffic is cleared out as well. Eastbound 70, stop and go traffic from Belmont to the south split. Inbound 65, slow in parts here from 38th Kessler to 21st. Westbound 70 to the north, a split stop and go traffic from Emerson Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Cracker Barrel. Big cravings calling for Cracker Barrel's new Big Country Skillets. Choose your entree plus 2 sides and a drink starting at $9.99. New Big Country Skillets now at Cracker Barrel. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
Now your weather forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's going to be a beautiful day in downtown Indianapolis, and by late afternoon, we will be in the 80s. Sunny sky above Monument Circle, and it's 60 degrees. The Kendall and Casey show starts right here, right now on 93 WIBC.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Oh, well, looky here, Casey.
What's that, Rob Kendall?
Well, it turns out the governor has a problem with the IEDC, too.
Yes. He did announce plans for an independent audit of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. He wants to increase transparency and protect taxpayers. I love this for us.
Oh, well, kudos to the governor. I mean, after basically sticking it to the taxpayers, now he's interested in our protection. So, as Bruce Willis says in Die Hard, welcome to the party, pal. All right, let's talk about this and why it matters.
Yeah.
First of all, the IEDC, let's explain to everybody what they are and why this is a giant crock of crap. And not only should the thing be audited, it should be thrown out the window. Okay, so the IEDC, as you said, is the Indiana Economic Development, is a commission corporate. I think it's corporation, right? And they were set up under Mitch Daniels, and they had some very sort of basic small parameters. And their primary job was to attract business development, economic development to the state of Indiana. It was very, like most things under Mitch Daniels, it was very targeted, it was well intended. But just like everything else in government, it just grows into some sort of it is Dr. Frankenstein. It is the monster. You cannot contain it. You cannot stop it. And because it was set up as a quasi-government agency, and the reason they did that at the time with Daniels, I think his motives were altruistic. It was to give them flexibility, to be agile, to be able to do things quicker if businesses were interested coming here, et cetera. And being an actual full-fledged government agency would not have allowed that to happen. But it has become, because of the lack of requirements that come with being a quote-unquote quasi-government agency, the government in a post-Mitch era blatantly has flaunted the ability to get around rules and regulations that come with being a government agency. And now you have all sorts of things that were never intended, land deals and cash going out here and money going out the window over there and the LEAP district and all of these things that it was never intended to be. And now you have literally hundreds of millions of dollars, and this is the major problem. You have hundreds of millions of dollars going out the window every single budget cycle, and you as the taxpayer have almost no idea where that money's going, how it's getting spent. We have seen our friends like Capitol Chronicle and other agencies. Right, and it is like pulling teeth, something that would be very, It wouldn't be simplistic as a government agency because those are public records requests, et cetera. But it is darn near impossible because they are able to flaunt. They are able to. It would flaunt be the right word. They are skirt the regulations that come with most government agencies and not give you information.
Okay, so the IEDC has not submitted an annual budget to the State Budget Committee since 2019. So we're talking 6 years now, and I believe they have a $300 million budget.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's massive, right? I mean, every biennial budget, we're talking about how much money and this is the thing. It's your money. And this is what is so ridiculous about this. They're also exempt from the transparency portal. So,
Correct.
yeah, like you, the citizen, even the skilled journalists are having trouble. You, the average person, would have no idea. And whether you agree with your government or you don't agree with your government, you should, in a very simplistic fashion, be able to say, I want to know how my money's being spent, and you should, like that, be able to look and make those determinations. They have deliberately made this basically impossible for the average person to figure out what's going on. We're not talking about $10,000. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. And so there has been such an outcry over this. A lot of it is because what of a complete dumpster fire the Leap District has been, and how that has not paid off thus far. It has not developed the things that we were told it was going to develop. You have seen outrage from the people in Boone County. So the Leap District, and again, I know most of you are regular listeners, but for those of you who aren't regular listeners, Leap was this innovation district created by the previous governor, High Tax Holcomb, in which the state of Indiana decided it was going to facilitate this community of mega corporations coming to the state of Indiana. And part of what they did was they gobbled up in Boone County, Lebanon, with the assist and the help of the mayor of Lebanon, Matt Gentry, in terms of annexing property into the town, et cetera. Matt Gentry's father is one of those powerful Republicans in the state, has for years helped Republicans get elected to the state house, et cetera. They facilitated, with the strong arm of government, the IEDC, purchase of mass quantities of farmland. And we've talked to multiple farmers who said, you had two options. And it was made very clear. You can fight us, and you might win for a while, but eventually you'll lose because we're government. We have unlimited resources.
Or you can take this buyout.
And they were paying, allegedly, now you don't know because you can't put it all together, mega prices for farmland. So the only thing thus far that has gone there is Lilly. Now, Facebook was supposed to be doing something, but that is yet to develop. We do know they've already admitted they don't have enough water already for the district. They don't have enough power for the district. And so everybody's looking around going, we have all these budget shortfalls. We have all these, things that we don't have enough money for, but yet we have hundreds of millions of dollars for this quasi shadow government entity. We'd like to know where the hell our money's going.
Right, exactly. And you've got State Senator Fatty Cadora, who's a Democrat from Indianapolis. He was calling for greater oversight and accountability. He accused the IEDC of using tax dollars for insider deals, shady vendors, government waste. And so now Governor Braun has said, okay, I've got this commitment to transparency. Hoosiers deserve clear accountability for public spending. We're going to have this audit. Now, here's where we want to really look into what this is all about. Is the governor trying to change the conversation?
Well, okay, so we're not happy with the governor, but we will give him credit for calling for this.
It's a great thing.
Well, it is. But why is it just happening now? Well, why now? Why are you waiting until now, until you've had 90% of the state completely pissed off at you about the property tax bill and the budget that is a complete dumpster fire to call for this now? Why didn't you do this in December? Why didn't you do this in January? That's a very valid question to ask the governor. Why are you waiting until right now to demand this audit? And then the question is, what are you going to make the General Assembly? See, the General Assembly is responsible for this. No General Assembly vote, no money. They keep giving the money to this thing. They keep pumping the money in. Holcomb couldn't have done this on his own. The General Assembly consents to this stuff. So Braun is clearly shown he doesn't have any juice with the General Assembly, and he's not willing to fight them. We've already had that precedent set with the property taxes. So what are you going to do to these guys who are clearly invested in crony capitalism? How many times have we laid out specific examples of what's happening with that? They're protecting, in many cases, industries they're involved in and making money off of. So the next question to the governor, 2 questions. 1, why now? And 2, what are you going to do about it once we see the audit and we see where the money went? Because you have made it very clear you're not going to veto anything because it doesn't matter. So how are you going to make the General Assembly do something about it?
Right. And is this all going to be part of a transparency portal, the findings? Who's doing the audit? Are we going to be able to see what the audit finds out?
But why are we doing any of this, Casey? We already have. This is and we got something fun coming up with Matt Baer. Well, not fun, but interesting coming up with Matt Baer next. But why are we doing any of this? We already have economic development tools. Why does the IEDC exist, period, now? We already have abatement tools for communities.
We already have the Secretary of State.
Yeah, that's right.
Taking international trips for economic development.
Why isn't Diego just in charge of all this? This is my point. We already have economic development tools. Communities can abate. They can offer economic development incentives. Are we led to believe that Eli Lilly, the most powerful drug manufacturer in the world, with a market cap that I believe is like $900 billion, is that right? I can't remember. Let me look this up because I don't want to get this wrong.
I know we looked it up at one point.
Eli Lilly. Oh, there it is. As of this morning, according to the Google machine, $784.5 billion is Eli Lilly's market cap.
You were close. Yeah.
Okay. So they can't put together a basic real estate deal? They're incapable of.
They need help.
They couldn't have called Mark Dietel and been like, Mark, we'd like to buy some land in Boone County.
Right.
So the good on Braun for calling for this. But these questions need to be answered by him of why now and what does he intend to do with the information, given the fact that with property taxes, he set the precedent of not challenging the General Assembly or forcing them to do things. So good, nice first step, but what comes with it?
Right, exactly. And are we going to be able to see all of the details that they find out?
Yeah.
Or is that going to be behind closed doors as well?
And by the way, Mike, just call the Gentrys. They've been helping run your campaigns for years. Right. They'll know what's going on. Matt is very involved with the IDC through LEAP. He can give you some of this information.
Sure he can. It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
This May, you've got a chance to see what an IndyCar driver's dream garage really looks like. WIBC's Tales from the Track, presented by Relay Indiana, takes you inside Graham Rahal Performance, a high-octane hangout where racing meets luxury. Hammer and Nigel sit down with Graham for great stories, laughs, and insights from someone who grew up on the hallowed grounds of the IMS. It's a backstage pass to speed, style, and surprises. Tickets available now at WIBC.com. Tales from the Track, presented by Relay Indiana.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a DSNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A DSNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials, too. With a Humana DSNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Concrete Floor Coatings. You already know if your garage concrete has stains and cracks, or you've got a bad epoxy job, it makes your whole garage look bad. Guaranteed, a Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your garage in just one day. But did you know? We transform concrete patios and concrete pool decks beautifully. Our patios and pool decks are guaranteed and turn out way better than new, at a fraction of the cost of replacing them. And we make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly and apply your gleaming new Comer & Cross proprietary guaranteed finish. If you call us within the next 10 minutes for your quick and easy estimate, you'll get a free Samsung 70-inch flat-screen TV or $500 credit. Free with every garage floor, pool deck, or patio we transform. Call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR now. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
For over 20 years, Howard Bailey Financial has been helping families just like yours gain clarity, confidence, and purpose with personal and practical financial strategies. And now, we're offering our full suite of services on Rangeline Road, right in the heart of Carmel, making it even easier to meet with our experienced team face to face. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating life transitions, or just need guidance for your financial future, we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Text CARMEL to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Hey, great news, Casey.
Yeah, what's that, Rob?
You can now go really fast on 465.
Many people already were, but now it'll be legal to do so.
Well, we had that conversation multiple times, and we've had police officers call before, and they're like, yeah, speed limit's 55. Basically, if you're under 70, we're not going to screw around with you. I mean, they say 10, right?
At that point, you're just keeping up with traffic.
Well, that's right. You can't come after me. But in another act of the government wanting to think that they're doing something for you, while they're about to take a bunch of your money through toll roads, they don't want you to pay attention to that. They have raised, or assuming Braun signs the bill, they are raising the speed limit on 465 as part of the road funding bill.
Yeah, isn't that something? So the bill's primary focus is road funding, but then it just snuck in there a little speed limit change. And to talk more about it, we have WIBC's The Beast, Matt Baer, joining us.
Hello, hi. Thanks for having me today.
So we thought all things traffic are you, and we said, well, let's ponder a world which is coming soon where the speed limit is now 65, which means I guess I can go 80 before they'll pull me over now.
Right.
What you're the traffic maestro. How will a change in the speed limit on 465 affect traffic in your opinion?
Well, we're going to crash more. That's really? Simply what it is. You increase speed, and there's going to be more wrecks. That's how this works, and that's how it's going to be with 465. Already an interstate that I qualify barely as an interstate, more like a mud pit. Something that you have to really, really be careful on. I drive a crappy little car. I get it. I'm in a different area. But what's happening here is 465, there's a bill going to Governor Braun's desk that if he signs will raise the speed limit from 55 to 65 miles per hour on I-465, okay? That sounds great. I could use another 10 miles per hour on I-465. For me personally, I think that's fantastic. But we are going to crash more, and there are going to be more crashes on this interstate, the 52.7 miles, this USS Indianapolis Memorial Highway, so properly named. But it's going to be crashing, and we're going to have more of it. That's just that's the math. That's the science.
Well, they should have named it the Matt Baer Employment Security Act.
I'm still trying to get the North Split named right now.
Why did they do this? Do we know? Is there was there an outcry of, we've talked to people before, and they're like, how fast can you go? And the cops said, 10, it's fine. Usually 70 or under, as long as you're going with the flow of traffic, we're not going to get you. But, was there an outcry from people saying I need to go 80 instead of 70?
Well, there's money first, you make money, the more tickets that you're going to be riding, so you have the opportunity for this. And secondly, you look at 465 in its totality, and I kind of compare it to the left lane law. We all love the left lane law. If you are in the left lane and just kind of camping out there, you could get a ticket.
Yeah.
The cops could come up behind you, pull you over, and write you a ticket. It's just something that people like, man, I wish I could go faster on 465, and you hear enough of it. Now you have a guy, I think the guy who authored this bill was from LaPorte, which is pretty far from 465. So I feel like this was just kind of a thing that somebody without a lot of knowledge
daily driving
about
on it.
the Indianapolis Metro traffic kind of came up with just because he heard a couple of people saying, man, we got to go faster on 465. So even if that's the case, the bottom line is if Governor Braun signs this bill on July 1st, the speed limit on I-465 is going to be 65 rather than 55 miles per hour. Now, everybody's saying, hey, we're going 65, 70 anyways. What's the big damn deal? And that's, to me, that's kind of flawed logic because when the speed limit is up, I go up too.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
I hate to tell on myself. I know I'm supposed to be responsible. I'm a human being. I suck. But you have 10 miles per hour over the speed limit when you're driving that and it's posted. Yes, you're going to go faster. That's the way it works, man.
Matt Bear joins us now. Casey, would you like to ask Matt about the toll roads? Because we're very concerned about the toll roads.
Okay, well, you had mentioned Jim
Pressel.
Pressel.
He looks like a guy who's never actually gone over 32 miles an hour.
Yeah. He's the author of the bill, and as you mentioned, he's from the LaPorte area, and I'm sure he's used to driving on the toll road, the Indiana toll road, 80-90, all the time up there. So now he's possibly introducing, new toll roads in central Indiana.
This is going to make it easier to put a toll booth on, as I understand it. And when we talk about toll booths, it's a conversation that comes up every State House session with possibly putting toll booths on 465. And now that we know that Indiana's short, what? $2.5 billion. Yeah, that's what we're short right now. I foresee some toll booths coming to 465.
You think 465 they'll toll 465?
Why not? If you're $2.5 billion short and you need money, that's a good way to raise money right there. Stick it in the general fund.
Yeah, but they'll do open road tolling where you just kind of slow down and the camera takes your picture of your license.
On 465, okay, this is
There's
fascinating.
no way they're going to put booths on there.
Well, okay, but this is fascinating to me, Matt, because I think a lot of people thought, well, 65 to Chicago, they're already doing 65 to Louisville. You think 465 will be in play?
I've heard grumblings about 460. I think everything's in play right now, Rob. I mean, you have a brand new I-69 interstate that runs from Evansville to Indianapolis because we had to have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It had to be there. And what a better way to make some money than maybe put a tolling. And I say toll booth just as a generality. I shouldn't do that. But having a tolling station, say, maybe on the approach from 74 southbound on 465
Crawfordsville
to
Road for Rob Kendall to downtown. Yeah, that's right. I'm not paying that toll, baby.
He's about 70, baby.
I'd sooner stab myself between the eyes as freely give government money. I don't care if it takes 2 hours to get to work. Crawfordsville Road all the way in, baby.
I'm telling you,
So
man.
over the weekend, Matt, I was in Washington, D.C., and they have tolling on the Beltway there, and it's dynamic. At one point, it was up to $15. You don't think that's something, this will be a standard price?
But
tolling.
let's just say we won't start there.
Yeah.
We will start at $15. It could become that. I mean, nothing's static when you're talking about fees in government. Nothing's going to be that one-time thing they can say it's going to be, but it's not going to be. I'm sure they would start with a rate that's going to cause the least amount of public outcry as you possibly can. And then just kind of go from there. I mean, the thing, and I'm getting way out of my lane with this because I brought it up once, but the $2.5 billion shortfall is, to me, it's kind of the same thing. You don't have that money, so eventually this is going to lead to more deficit, so you're going to have to raise the prices of what we're paying on these other things.
Okay.
And that would include a toll station.
We got about a minute left. You had a fabulous piece on WTHR about your is conquering of sobriety. Would that be the right phraseology about your
journey?
Your journey.
Okay,
Thank you. I wanted to use the
yeah.
correct. And there's I'm glad Ryan Hedrick is in the newsroom here. Maybe he can pop on with you. You guys have dedicated a big. He's not paying any attention to us. There he is. Okay, now he's paying attention. You guys have dedicated a big portion of your life to. And I think I would say heroically talking about your journeys to sobriety with the Supporting Sobriety podcast. So if you guys just want to talk about that for a second, where people can get that, because I think it's awesome.
Right. Let me just say this. I appreciate you say conquering. That feels.
Is that
really,
right?
Well, it makes me feel really cool, but you never really conquer it.
That's what I didn't want to be the guy where it's like,
no, but I love to hear it. My ego loves hearing that. I mean, it definitely does. But when it comes to recovery and sobriety, this is like a thing we work on our entire lives, like Ryan. I mean, me being a recovering alcoholic and you doing your thing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do this for us. We do this for the caregiver because I know the hell I put my mom through and my dad. I mean, to live in their shoes and the torment that we caused with our behavior and our addiction, the perpetual cycles of terror that we put our families through, the least we could do is create a podcast to give back what was given to us, which is recovery.
Supporting sobriety, wherever you get your podcast, it's highly entertaining radio. I mean, I don't mean to belittle like the importance of the content, but like you guys are great, and I think it's helped. I tell you this every day. I think you guys have helped so many people, and I just love that you guys are doing this.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Casey. And right, I mean, it's kind of like almost a church-like atmosphere when we we kind of get the recovery bug going and start. You know, we encourage each other and we encourage everybody that's involved. And I can't believe we're able to do it, to be honest. I can't believe we're here, several years later in recovery, that somebody's actually trusting us to be able to do that. That's the blessing of recovery. That's the joy of it. It is a beautiful thing once you say I'm ready.
The message is great, and it's entertaining to listen to as well.
All right.
Is Supporting Sobriety, the podcast.
Yeah, wherever you get your podcast. All right, so you, Matt, repeatedly, obsessively mentioned how bad our government is at money with the $2.5 billion.
Did I say that? I was trying to...
welcome to the show, Matt. You know what show you're on. You don't have to be nice here. Jim Merritt's going to join us next to talk about how we got in this mess and how the governor might be able to dig his way out of it.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's here, Diamonds Direct's annual spring sale. Take an extra 20% off our already renowned prices. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off your purchase. That's 20% off plus $100 off store-wide. Explore an expanded selection of trending engagement ring settings, his and hers wedding bands, must-have fine jewelry, and more. But hurry, this limited-time sale ends April 27th, and we're even open this Sunday. Don't miss out. Visit DiamondsDirect.com for details.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Making America healthy again. Your radar is clear in downtown Indianapolis where it's 60 degrees, moving up to 80 today. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending at 9:32.
When we've got an surging epidemic of all of these chronic conditions and no good explanation as to why, don't we want to err on the side of safety?
That's Dr. Marty McCary, who leads the FDA, appearing on Fox and Friends a couple of hours ago, speaking about the banning of at least 8 dyes in foods that are essential to every day in their children's diet: cereal, chips, sodas. Food companies have until January of 2027 to stop using it in their products. Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson said Tuesday that he doesn't mind competing against quarterback Daniel Jones for the starting position.
Competition, that brings the best out of you, and that's just how life works. You just got to compete and just get better. Because somebody else to the right, left, or even in front of you, trying to outwork you and just be better than you. So competition, I love it.
And the Colts have not taking a quarterback in this year's draft off the table. In fact, they said they're open to it. Daniel Jones was brought in from the Minnesota Vikings this past offseason. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. All 3 major indices looking up this morning. The Dow is up almost 800 points to 39,186.98. The S&P up 138 to 5287.76, and the NASDAQ is up 563 to 18,276.41. I'm Ryan Hedrick, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Promises made, promises kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower. Future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
We all need a certain level of socialization to remain mentally sharp and healthy, especially when living with a life-altering diagnosis. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Coming up are suggestions that can help improve that loneliness your loved one may have.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Create a routine that both you and your loved one can look forward to. Plan social activities and outings. They promote connection and reduce those feelings of isolation. Recruit your friends and family to participate. And if possible, use adult day centers to engage your loved one and give you that much needed break. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Come on, Indy. Don't use the spring to paint your house year after year. Do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. They just didn't leave a mess. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
Backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. And now get the protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Rhino Shield, I think it increases the value and the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and security edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
It has not been a good couple of weeks for the governor. Let's find out if he can come back from this. It's the Kendall and Casey Show. Rob Casey's here. Joined in studio. Nobody knows state government better than this guy. 30 years in the Indiana Senate, the great Jim Merritt. Hello.
Robert.
All right. So obviously last week we did a whole bunch of stuff with the property taxes. That is not going well for the governor. And if we have time, we'll come back to that in a second. But now this budget where there's a $2 billion plus shortfall. And as of right now, it looks like they're going to try to plug it with tax increases instead of spending cuts. And that would then mean the governor is going to have to sign a bunch of tax increases in a budget. So his option then becomes veto, which we've seen where he is with the vetoes. Yeah. So we don't have any hope for that. Yeah. I mean, it has been not a great couple of weeks for the governor.
It's time for leadership at the State House. And, God bless Senator Ryan Mishler. He has been warning about this to a certain extent for all session. And for those who've been listening, this budget, they have been working on this budget for 18 months now. They will start working on the next budget after July 1st, 2025. And I would encourage my former colleagues over the State House, both House and Senate, to take a minute to think about the idea of flexibility, maybe even passing a budget and with a planned veto of the governor, and then come in for a special session sometime in late June.
Okay, let's pause on that for a second, because they have to pass a budget, but they don't have to pass it right now, correct?
They have to pass a budget by April 29th, constitutionally. They have to sine die, and a budget has to be passed. But I've seen governors veto budgets on May 1st or the night of April 29th. And then I think it was back in 1993, we came back and stayed until June 30th. So I hope there's not panic. I hope there's not a vacuum of leadership over there that they think, well, we've got the hole in the budget because of, as it's been reported, tariffs, and because of different issues going on in the federal government, and maybe the economy is slowing down a little bit.
Let's talk about this for a second. I asked you and Abdul this on State House Happenings, and you both just stared back at me, which means I think I hit on
a little bit of
I think I hit on something here, which is I do not understand, as much as those guys down the street hate me, how I, as a radio guy, can a month and a half ago say, the economy looks like it could be in pretty rough shape short term. Now, maybe long term the tariffs are going to be great. I don't know. Like, that's a different conversation.
Right. We don't know.
You don't know. But in the short term, the economy is yo-yoing back and forth daily. It was this morning it was up 600 points. Days before it's down. But yet the House and Senate were proceeding along with these $2.7, $2.8 billion budget increases, and we were saying on this show, like, what are these guys doing? You have no idea how the revenue is going to be long term, and then the forecast comes out, and they're like, oh. Guess we were way off. How is it that the radio show can say this, but these 150 lawmakers and the governor and all the resources of state government can't get this right? Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm genuinely curious how the average person like myself, I'm not an economist. I'm just a guy on the radio. I could look at this and see that, and they got it so wrong.
And, on these airwaves, I try to tell the truth. And truth be told, I think everybody remembers, I thought it was going to be a sunshiny, rosy forecast because I thought the economy was rolling. I didn't think that the legislature would take so seriously what's happening in Washington, as well as the fact that we just didn't know in February. But right now it's a vacuum, and they're talking about the sin taxes and increasing taxes, and I disagree with that. There is time that you don't have to do anything concrete until June 30th. And I would really encourage the legislature, and the Republicans are leading it, and the governor's leading it. This is a good opportunity for the governor to step into the leadership vacuum and say, whatever you do, we're going to veto it. We're going to have a special session when things cool off sometime in June 15th.
Okay, so one of the things that's going to come out of this is we're done with, oh, look at how smart guys like Jeff Thompson are. Look at how fiscally responsible we are. Oh, we're the envy of the Midwest. This is a disaster that you're this wrong on this. And then your response, like you're saying, in a panic is, oh, cigarette taxes, alcohol taxes, gambling taxes. You guys clearly didn't know what you were doing. You didn't prepare properly. Now you're in this panic mode, and your response, I thought Republicans are supposed to be the party of limited government and low tax. I mean, we all know in this state that's what, hogwash that is. But their panic response is, let's see how many taxes we can raise. I mean, they look horrible.
Well, not only that, if you do try a legislative trick, if you will, and try to delay this until June 15th, you can actually be transparent and have hearings exactly how much. I have no idea what the sin taxes represent in the way new revenue. Where is that going to be spent? And I would assume and you know what happens when you assume.
That's right.
But when May 1st comes, the narrative will be that the tobacco tax will go towards Medicaid. And that's what we always try to do is when you're trying to, raise a tax in regards to the cigarette tax, tobacco tax, that it would go towards a health issue. But bottom line is it's people have to step up. They've got to be transparent. And I don't think they had a hearing one bit on the sin tax increases. No! And I think it's time that they do have some hearings and maybe take the next 6 weeks to it's not going to hurt anybody. You know, right now we're in the last
but
budget.
Jim, this is the same argument we made with the property tax bill, which is, Mr. Governor, just veto it, call the special session. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. If they do something stupid, then you're removed from any responsibility on it. Mm-hmm. And he made it very clear. See, this is the problem when he's now he's, out there running around saying, well, the veto is it's just symbolic. There's nothing. You just gave away. It is not just symbolic. No. Back me up on a close vote. Vetoes all the time don't get overridden.
Well, of course. And it just all depends on how you express it, how you lead. And a veto, regardless of the override, it is your statement. It's your right. You know, I've always thought that you limit the executive orders for a governor, and you also limit it ought to be 2/3 majority for a veto. But that's for another story, another day. But bottom line is it's time. It's really time to step up the leadership, be transparent, and you really don't have to make a decision on this until mid to late June.
Jim Merritt, 30 years in the Indiana Senate with us. Okay, so we now live in a world where theoretically, Braun could have made everybody.
Theoretically.
Well, I mean, we're getting closer to it being a real thing, but as of right now, it's still theoretical. Where he makes everybody mad with the property tax thing on both sides of the aisle. Then he comes back with a budget where he's signing all these tax increases. He might as well just pull a Richard Nixon, get on the helicopter, put both hands up in the air and say, thanks for letting me be governor for a couple of years. Well, if he signs that.
But this is a great opportunity to be a hero.
It's what we said with the property tax thing.
Yeah, and be a hero with the whole budget. I would assume, and you know what happens, but I would presume that people are thinking, let's set aside Senate Bill 1, which costs money to the state government. You made both sides mad. And you start over.
Can you do after a bill's been signed into law? Can you undo it?
Yeah, you can put in the budget bill a trailer, if you will, setting aside a previous bill that's been signed. Yes, you can amend a law.
No kidding.
Yes, you can.
So did you hear that, Casey?
I did. A trailer? Is that like a caboose on a train?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I used to work for a railroad company. Yeah, you can pass a bill that terminates a law, and that's what it's a law, and as well.
So Braun can get back in everybody's good graces.
Yeah,
is it a great opportunity?
Yeah,
if you put a trailer on the bill,
all you got to do, Braun, put the trailer.
Yeah,
we don't even know what the trailer is, but Merritt says do it.
Yeah, load it up, and you make everybody happy. The education people weren't happy with it. The property tax reform people weren't happy with it. You set Senate Bill 1 aside, which gives $1 billion tax relief, they say, and you're a hero. You start over and you call for the elimination of property taxes.
Yeah, we love that.
All we need to do is set a hitch on SB 1. He can hook up that trailer.
You put a hitch on a bill like the budget bill.
I love that he's looking. I love that he's going to actually tell you, Casey. This is why Jim Merritt should be protected at all costs. He's a legitimate national treasure. No one else would have known that.
This would be a really creative way of getting out of that.
It really would.
Absolutely.
And he could get it back in everybody's good graces.
Well, yeah. It also depletes the revenue of the state government, and you find revenue by setting aside Senate Bill 1. It only passed by 27 votes.
Now the only problem he'll say is, well, that's local governments. The revenue, it's property tax, but that money's going to local governments, which is the economy's hard for them too.
Right, right, and you're a hero in so many different ways. But
what are the chances of him doing
You
that?
have to change the conversation. if you're going to be governor for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
and also, we're kind of in a zone right now at the State House where we have no idea what's going to happen in Washington, and they've put that as the problem here. And the only thing you're solving is if you raise all the sin taxes, you get to say we are taking care. The narrative of the Medicaid explosion.
Yeah. All right. Find him on Twitter, Jim _Merritt. Yep. Merritt in the Morning is your very fabulous podcast. You can find that on YouTube as well as Facebook. Mm-hmm. I mean this. At all costs, we must protect Jim Merritt. He is a national treasure. You're the best. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
It is Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the FDA ends food dyes, and Yale needs itself just a bit of a shakeup. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
What up, fellow Gen Xers? Elizabeth Banks here. As the original Latchkey kids, we took things into our own hands, like house keys and video game controllers. And now it's time for us to do it again, because the recommended age to get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. We're at over 6 times greater risk compared to adults under 50. So go to vaxassist.com and schedule. Gen X, this is our shot. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Rob. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity is up. Now is the best time in years to sell your home. However, some homes are sitting on the market. Hiring an expert who can maximize equity and minimize hassle is the key. That expert agent I recommend to sell your home is Mark Dietl. Maybe you want a fast, guaranteed, no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Andrew in downtown Noblesville had to say about working with Mark Dietl. Recently retired, our goal was to sell our home of 30 years, buy an RV, and spend summers traveling to Montana and winters in Arizona. Mark Dietl's team made it happen fast. We were under contract in 3 days, over asking price with no contingencies. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. It's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140, paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Breaking news updates, local headlines, and statewide coverage are always available at WIBC.com. When the news moves fast, we will too. Stay in the know while you're on the go with WIBC.com.
Hey, did you see Elon Musk is leaving Doge?
Yeah. He said he's going to be stepping down and going back to work on Tesla, and the people at Tesla have to be very happy about this because Tesla profits had plunged over 70% in his absence, and after he made the announcement that he was going to leave Doge and go back to Tesla, 5% increase just off of that announcement.
Well, we've talked about this for several months. If you're somebody who's heavily invested, and a lot of people are through their 401ks or whatever, but I mean, if you're like a heavy Tesla person, you've got to just be beside yourself that this guy tanked your stock while he was playing government, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Tesla appears to have paid the price for Doge, and the Cybertruck obviously became a political target. So not only does he have some business to take care of, but possibly some, I don't want to say rebranding, but some branding management that he's going to have to tackle.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Tesla stock, it was like 280 a month ago. It was 500. It was like six months ago, almost 500. It's at 245 now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty serious drop over the last 6 months. If you're heavily invested in Tesla, I mean, it was 400-ish a year ago. I mean, that's a significant hit to your portfolio if you were heavily leveraged into those guys. And let's face it, the reality is much of it's down because he's been, and while it's been great for the country, I think on certain levels, so distracted and out there on Doge and government cuts, and that's angered a big portion of his customer base. And look, I get it. If you were a person heavily in Tesla, you are not a happy camper right now.
Well, some early backers of Tesla are saying that Musk should be replaced as the CEO, and that's the only way the company can move forward because they think the damage is done. We'll see if he can bring them back.
Yeah.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 317-516-6861 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. 317-516-6861 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 317-516-6861 for fast, easy, affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 317-516-6861.
Hi, Jeff Roush for Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
With a B&W Premier Club membership, you'll stay ahead of breakdowns and costly repairs. Our members get routine maintenance, priority scheduling, and exclusive discounts, saving you money and keeping your family comfortable all season long. Visit bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108 for more information.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
At Hendricks, our cancer care
is in the details.
When you are with us, and you have our time and you have our energy.
We have a wonderful team of highly trained oncologists, physical therapists, speech pathologists, dietitians.
Always making sure that the patient is the center of the care.
We have excellent nurse navigation that are skilled at identifying barriers to treatment, as well as expertise from Mayo Clinic.
It is more personal care than just a number.
Visit hendricks.org/cancer.
From a fast break to recovery, Indiana hospitals are here for every Hoosier, regardless of their ability to pay. That's why we're teaming up with legislators on a winning playbook to lower costs and protect access to care across our communities. Because good policy doesn't leave anyone on the sidelines. Learn more at HoosierLifeline.com.
Paid for by the Indiana Hospital Association.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what police know so far about an overdose that happened at a school in Indiana, a bill on sex education and what lawmakers say they're not happy about, and the Indiana Pacers continue to not fear the deer. Those stories and much more coming up after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You are listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, and it's now 10 o'clock.
Another rebound in the stock market. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Dow surging up a little over 1,000 points for a second day in a row on optimism that President Trump plans to ease off at some point on the trade war with China. Now, there's also part of today's increase on relief from fear the president was trying to remove the Federal Reserve chairman. Him calling Jerome Powell a major loser led to a sell-off on Monday. Well, now the president says he has no intention of firing Powell, but
this is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not, but it would be good timing.
Now, one of the stocks rising this morning, Tesla. The electric car maker's lost about half its value the past 4 months. It's gaining more than 8% this morning after CEO Elon Musk told investors following a big drop in revenue and profit last quarter.
I'll be allocating far more of my time to Tesla. And now that the major work of establishing the Department of Government Efficiency is done.
Musk will still do some work there. His work at Doge helping slash federal jobs and spending led to protests and vandalism targeting Tesla cars and dealerships. Now to the Vatican. It is the first of 3 days of public viewings for Pope Francis after his casket was moved from the residence where he died Monday to St. Peter's Basilica.
Pope Francis wanted a more minimalistic approach to the service surrounding his death. Instead of an elevated casket like those of previous pontiffs, his casket is lower to the ground. Crowds began gathering early this morning for the public to begin paying their respects.
Fox's Alex Hogan. The funeral's Saturday. The FDA is working to get food companies to stop using 8 petroleum-based food dyes by next year.
Studies have shown that these vibrant colors actually mess with the mind of a developing child, and sometimes they'll seek eating more of this ultra-processed food.
FDA Commissioner Marty McCary.
That may help explain at least one piece of this toxic soup that is messing up the health of our nation's children.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
An incident at a school that has a lot of people concerned. Mostly sunny and 62 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick, and this report is brought to you by Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Drug overdoses can occur unexpectedly. Well, there was an overdose involving a child that happened Tuesday.
A Perry Township student OD'd Tuesday, and it was the actions of 2 school nurses that saved that student's life, using naloxone twice to bring that person around. To blame, according to Perry Township School Superintendent Dr. Patrick Spray, a THC vape illicitly sold and laced with fentanyl. He praised the nurses for their quick action, and school police arrested the people who sold the vape.
That's WIBC's Chris Davis reporting. A shooting this morning in Lawrence, and a man died. The Lawrence Police Department says the victim was found dead at the scene, and a suspect was detained. You might have seen a road closure for sewer repairs at the intersection of Stop 11 Road and Shelby Street. That's on the south side of Indianapolis. Citizens Energy originally said that repair would be done by April 18th. Well, then they said this morning that it won't be done until the end of the week because of the complexity of the repair. A bill discussing sex education requirements in Indiana, language that would have required schools to teach the concept of consent to sexual activity, was removed during a conference committee meeting this week. Here's the bill's author, Gary Byrne, debating Democrat Ed Delaney in that meeting.
This is a sensitive subject for many. I believe it may be different thoughts in different communities.
Senator, I just had a simple question. Can you identify those localities where it's a problem to talk about consent? Because I'd like to know.
The bill is expected to get a final vote by the end of the week. The Indiana Pacers have a 2-0 lead in their NBA playoff series over the Milwaukee Bucks after beating them Tuesday night in Game 2 at Gabriel Fieldhouse. 123-115. They were helped by guard Tyrese Halliburton's 21 points and 12 assists.
I got a lot of good looks last game. They just didn't fall. So it gave me confidence coming into today that, I would make shots. Got a good couple of days of work in and felt good coming in today. So, it's a good win for us.
Halliburton says he's not concerned either about an anonymous player survey in The Athletic that said he was one of the NBA's most overrated players. Game 3 is in Milwaukee Friday night. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 10:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Gotta love summertime. It's for enjoying outdoor music and vacations, and our pals at AAA Hoosier Motor Club can help you save on both. AAA is now the official partner of Ruoff Music Center, and AAA members are going to enjoy some big-time benefits. Early entry into concerts, access to the AAA Premier Lounge. Can't wait to go see Chris Stapleton this summer.
Concerts at Ruoff, always a good time, always a fun time. Same with going on a vacation. And AAA members save with access to hotel discounts, rental car discounts, and a lot more, along with complimentary travel planning. Plus, if you run into trouble on the road, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas. AAA is there 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. So do yourself a favor. Join AAA today. AAA.com, 844-GO-AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You're deciding on something, I can tell.
Well, what you did was really shady.
What are you talking about what I did?
Well, you know what you did. It's the equivalent of taking somebody from my 600-pound life, sticking a giant cake right in their face, and going, "Hey, chubby, you want some cake?
You want to talk about this?"
You know what the answer's going to be, and you did it deliberately.
No, I didn't do it deliberately. Well, yes, I did do it deliberately.
See? This is my point. You
but
did it deliberately.
I want you to have all of the information. You need to know what is going on. I am just keeping you updated.
You knew exactly. You said, I'm going to play this for Rob, and then Rob's going to get enraged, and I want to do this because it'll be good. It'll be good for our radio show.
No. How many times have I sent you something? I'll text you something, and within a minute, you're tweeting it out. So this is just me making sure that you are well informed and you have all of the information needed.
All right. Well, I mean, here's what I'm torn on. Now, I said yesterday, we're done with the property tax thing. I said, but I think I guess, I don't know if I clarified it or not. I mean, if they are going to keep talking about it, then we're going to have to respond to it.
Yeah.
So he's talking about it again.
He's talking about it again. So Governor Mike Braun put out a tweet. He said,
I was done with it.
He said, today we mark a busy and productive 100 days in office. We're in the midst of budget negotiations and wrapping up the legislative session. So we look forward to celebrating all of these successes together once session ends. And included with that tweet was about a 2-minute video. And he's discussing his successes that he's had. Transparency and hospital bills and parental rights, and what else did he mention? He mentioned a few other things. It was about like, I don't know, not until like the 6th or 7th thing did he get to property taxes, because we were waiting. We were like, is he going to say it? What's he going to say?
Right.
And then he got to it.
Yeah, because it was way down the list. I mean, it was number one. And now
it was Senate Bill 1.
It's not number 1 anymore.
But we had to get 1 minute and 9 seconds into the clip before he brought up property taxes.
So you want to play, this is like some sort of zoo experiment where like you want to play the thing just to see how mad I'll get. Just own what you're doing. I mean, I'm going to hold you to the same standard the politicians. I know what you're doing. Just admit to me what you're doing, and then we'll do the thing.
I just want you to have the information. This is what the governor said this morning.
We secured meaningful tax relief for Hoosiers. When critics say we could only slow the increase on property taxes, I said we could deliver real relief. We delivered a property tax cut for most Hoosier homeowners, farmers, and businesses. It limits future tax hikes and makes the tax system more transparent. We're taking action across the government to reduce.
Okay. Let's do this one step at a time, shall we? And I know you want me to go off the rails. That's why you did this.
I just want you to have the information.
I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm going to address this in a very calm fashion.
Good.
Because I told you. I said,
trust me, I like calm, Rob.
I put the bow on it yesterday.
Yeah.
But if they want to keep the conversation going, which I don't know why he wants to do that. It's such a loser for him. I mean,
well, clearly he didn't want to. It was a minute 9 into his clip
but I mean,
he talked about it.
I don't even know why he's mentioning it. This is what's fascinating to me. So somebody else contacted me yesterday, same identical phone call or message that the other people have about Braun. And this is so weird that he's calling like rank and file Republican people, trying to have a conversation on the phone with them about why this property tax bill is a good thing. And it's like, Mr. Governor, people are wise to the bill. They know what's going on. So let's address a little bit of this one step at a time in this audio that he's playing. Kev, if you would cue it up from the beginning, and then I'll tell you when to hit the pause button.
We secured meaningful tax relief for Hoosiers.
Okay, pause. Pause.
Today.
So the tax relief that he secured was between $200 and $300. Now, if you're a senior citizen or a disabled vet, you might get an extra one. Although the disabled vets are upset. We had a long conversation at the rally the other night about how the disabled vets, they believe, the one we talked to said, I'm going to end up with less than what I had before.
Yeah.
So take them out. So because we don't know that. There's a big dispute on that. But if it's $200 or $300, your and if you're a senior citizen, $150. Now I'm going to share you a property tax bill that somebody just sent me, and they said I could share it, so I'm not breaking any confidentiality. This is a middle class person. Their property tax bill went from let's see, what did it do? It went up. What was this? $867. Yes, it went. It went up 8. Is that right? It went up 867. Blah blah blah. Oh no. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, point is, these increases are way more than, for most people, $300. The increases are way more than $300. And granted, there are some people who their property taxes have gone down outside of the rural, outside of the core area. We've seen that. But for most people, especially in central Indiana, the property taxes have skyrocketed way beyond $200 or $300. Or even if you want to throw in the $150 if you're a senior, let's just say you got $450. Most people's bills have gone up way more than $450. Is that securing meaningful property tax relief?
It is to him, or at least that's the way he's pitching it.
All right. Go ahead, Kevin.
When critics say we could only slow the increase on property taxes, I said we could deliver real relief.
Okay, pause. Pause. The bills are going to keep going up. We know that they are now capped at what we believe to be 4%. There's a formula, but they believe it's 4%. Well, we've already done the math, and in most of these homes, within 2 or 3 years, the new increase
is going to surpass
the cut.
Right.
So the property taxes are going to go back up. Okay, go ahead.
A property tax cut for most Hoosier homeowners, farmers, and businesses. It limits future tax hikes and makes the tax system.
Pause. But it doesn't. It limits in the sense of the property tax is now capped at how much it can go up. But what about the local income taxes?
Correct.
That are going to go up. I don't understand how you can say that if you're creating a new burden of taxation for most Hoosiers. I mean, we had Jesse Brown on here. He said, everybody agrees on this, especially in central Indiana, that these donut counties are all going to go for these, and these cities and towns that couldn't do it before are going to max out these lits,
right?
These
and
local income taxes.
The legislators are going to try and tell you that they lowered the amount that they can dip into that. However, some of them were at 0 or a smaller percent, so now they're going to go to the limit.
Right. If you weren't using any of it because you were getting it all through property taxes, and now you're going to use everything that you weren't using before. Well, 100% of a lower amount is a greater tax increase than 0% of a bigger. Like, I mean, it's just okay. Is there anything else, or did we hit all of it?
More transparent. We're taking action across the government to reduce.
So he's dug in on this, right? I mean, I don't understand how he thinks he's gonna unconvince people of. Like, I'm done being mad about it. Like, I'm whatever stage of grief I'm in, or whatever acceptance, right? I'm done being mad about it. And he's going to be on with Hammer and Nigel later today, and I don't think they're in the same level of grief that I'm at. I think they're still in the pissed off stage.
Well, I think the question that Hammer and Nigel have to ask, and of course it's their show, they're going to do what they want, is they have to ask, what is the next step? Because he came out with that language that said cut, cap, reform. What is the reform? We asked Lieutenant Governor, and he really was not specific. So if they do have a plan, what is it? What is this reform that they're talking about?
You know, there was a great documentary when I was a kid. It was called Baseball by Ken Burns. And it tracked the history of baseball. They actually came out with it when baseball went on strike in 1994. And when baseball went on strike in 1994, everybody was kind of like, this feels like the end of baseball's dominance of our national pastime. And it really was. Now, it came back in the late 90s with the steroid stuff, the home runs, but then that was undone when it came out that all those guys most of those guys were juicing, et cetera. But Ken Burns puts this documentary out that basically tracks the history of baseball. And he interviewed all of these famous people, not just baseball players, but people who had covered baseball, historians. And she's super liberal, but she was great in this documentary. Doris Kearns Goodwin, is that her name?
Yeah,
she's
historian.
A historian. She's very liberal, but she was great in this documentary. And they were talking about, because she was a huge Boston Red Sox fan. And she was talking about how, obviously, in 1986, the Boston Red Sox had not won a World Series since 1918. They're clearly better than the New York Mets. They're winning. They're ahead in the series 3-2. They got to win one game. They're ahead in the ninth inning. And they have this epic collapse that culminates with the Bill Buckner ball going through his legs. And what people don't realize is that was only game 6. The series was then tied at 3. The Red Sox could have won the next game and still won the World Series. And I'll never forget this, because what she said was, in a weird way, it didn't matter what happened in game 7 because we'd already lost. Losing that game, and in the fashion in which we lost that game, because we had already prepared for the celebration in the ninth inning, and it was down to the last out. It didn't matter what happened in game 7. And I oddly think that's where we're at now with this property tax thing. Even if Braun comes out with some sort of plan, which he doesn't have one, or he would have given it when he did.
We've already lost.
But even a month from now, it's too late.
Yeah.
People have already checked out, and they don't, you've lost the trust of the people. See, you wanted me to rage in this segment, and I'm not going to do it anymore,
I'm
Casey.
so proud of you.
I'm not going to give you I'm past the rage. I have no rage left. I'm the giving tree. I am the stump. I have nothing left to give. But I thought that was very interesting that he continues to try to throw this in people's faces. And I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and they agreed. This is a person who is not a politician, but is very involved in Republican politics. I said, the problem for Braun is the bills are going to keep showing up. And every year people will be reminded.
Yeah.
And people are going to cover, the media is going to cover income tax increases. Now, nobody covered local income tax increases. Now, every time these cities or counties enact a local income tax increase, the media is going to rush to cover it because it's going to be on Braun.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to pin it on Braun. And they want to. They want to get Braun. And so I just said, the problem Braun's got is this is a story that will not go away.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he just keeps trying to throw this in people's faces that this is some great thing for them.
Well, because he didn't veto it. And, like Jim Merritt suggested, he's not going to put a trailer on another bill. So he's got nothing left but to sell it. ABC, always be closing. And that's what he's trying to do with this bill.
Yeah, that's so you wanted. See, I didn't give you what you wanted. You wanted rage in the cage, and I have no rage left to give.
Trust me.
I moved on from all of that.
I did not want rage in the cage. Aphrodite Jones is going to join us next. We've got a True Crime Tuesday on a Wednesday. It's an update on the Karen Reed trial, and that is next on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
Final farewell at the Vatican. Pope Francis
lay in state in St. Peter's Basilica, pay their respects, and to say goodbye.
Hear the news.
Defense Secretary rumors Pete Hegseth might be replaced.
No, he's doing a great job. 6 years fake news.
As events happen.
Tons of large corporate rental companies.
A new law that passed last night in Fisher.
We'll happen to be there.
Limits rental properties. Carmel introduced a rule that would do the same thing.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
It's here, Diamonds Direct's annual spring sale. Take an extra 20% off our already renowned prices. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off your purchase. That's 20% off plus $100 off store-wide. Explore an expanded selection of trending engagement ring settings, his and hers wedding bands, must-have fine jewelry, and more. But hurry, this limited-time sale ends April 27th, and we're even open this Sunday. Don't miss out. Visit DiamondsDirect.com for details.
Spring's here and it's time for a new patio. Indy Decorative Concrete is offering free demolition. Offer ends April 30th. Visit IndyDecorativeConcrete.com for details.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
Well, it is True Crime Tuesday on a Wednesday, and we're getting an update from our friend Aphrodite Jones on what is going on with the Karen Reed trial. Now, Aphrodite, yesterday they had opening statements in this trial. What is the latest?
So, first of all, let me tell you that the crowd outside is so crazy. The judge has ordered a 200-foot buffer zone around the supporters of Karen Reed and the supporters of John O'Keefe that are, at each other. One guy got arrested and booked for trespassing. So it's serious outside with the craziness. In terms of what happened inside, opening statements, there's new evidence. We have a new prosecutor, Hank Brennan, who represented Whitey Bulger, if you know who that is, a mobster, famous mobster, and he is bringing up scientific evidence that has never been presented before about what the cell phone of John O'Keefe, the victim, the Boston cop who was killed, what his cell phone reveals. And I have to tell you, it's fascinating to me. I did not know that from cell phone data, you can get if you use Waze, and they were using Waze, it pinpoints the exact place your car was by the inch by inch. So that's on one side. On the other side, we have a defense saying that there was a dirty, corrupt investigator, Michael Proctor, who was fired, and is no longer part of this case. And the defense is saying because he was covering up for his friends, because he had a motive to do so, other cops are involved, he's indicating that John O'Keefe did not die from a collision.
Right. That's what I saw. Okay, so what are they saying that he died from?
Well, the judge ordered that they are not allowed to bring up a third-party reference in opening statements. They have to prove it during trial. So we'll hear about it. But what he alluded to is that his body was warm when he was killed someplace warm, meaning inside that house. His allegations in the first trial were that John O'Keefe walked into the house of Brian Albert. There was a skirmish downstairs, and he was hit. He was killed accidentally, and they put him outside in the front lawn in the snow. Now, Alan Jackson, defense attorney, is going to say Karen Reed never said, I hit him. Never. Yet we have first responders and other people at the scene hearing her say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. So he's going to argue that that's not the case. You know, it's just incredible that Karen Reed was able to see her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, in the snow, getting out of the car with her two other women who were driving her to find John O'Keefe. She sees him in the midst of a blizzard in the pitch black dark, okay, before around 6 a.m. And how did she see this man? How does she know where he is? Covered in snow, in the dark, in a blizzard.
Aphrodite Jones is with us. We're talking about the Karen Reed trial. What do we expect as some of the key witnesses in this trial?
Okay, key witness will be the first firefighter who arrived, who is the person who heard her say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Why is that so important? Well, that's an admission, clearly, from somebody's firsthand testimony. And you're also going to hear that again from the second witness, who is, is going to confirm. This is what they heard. Now, there's no cell phone data, there's no footage, there's no nothing to confirm it, but you've got to listen to witnesses' testimony and understand that their testimony, what they heard, is true evidence. So, they're going to try, the defense is now trying to discredit the police, to discredit the firefighter, to discredit the friends of John O'Keefe who were there. And, it's just interesting to me that you have people coming out of the woodwork to say the Boston police are corrupt and we're tired and we're not going to take it anymore. We have a lot of people that are going after the police in this country. I've told you that before. In this case, it has blown up to almost an OJ situation, because what the defense is alleging is that the lead prosecutor, who was later fired, planted evidence at the scene, that he planted pieces of a broken taillight from Karen Reed's car at the scene around John O'Keefe's body, that those pieces of red taillight never were there in two searches that the cops did, the CSI did initially. They only appeared after Michael Proctor had confiscated Karen Reed's car. So that's the allegation. It's a little bit of a Mark Furman thing. Evidence was planted, so you now have a jury having to look at what seems to be complete facts, that Karen Reed hit this man. Her taillight is smashed. His DNA is on the taillight, okay? There's so many elements here that show she hit him with her car. And including, by the way, they played a tape of her in the opening, which hadn't been done before. She did all these interviews on TV, in which she says to one of the interviews, and you watch it, could I have hit him? Maybe I hit him. I could have hit him. Is it possible? I would have thought that he was fine when I pulled away. I mean, I'm summarizing what she said, but she says it. I didn't think I hit him. But could I have clipped him? Could I have incapacitated him? He didn't look mortally wounded. Now, this is all in an interview clip that the prosecution plays for the jury, and the defense later says that was taken completely out of context. Well, Karen Reed's own words are there.
Right.
She's saying it.
Could be used against her. Aphrodite Jones is with us. We have about 30 seconds left in this True Crime Tuesday update involving the Karen Reed trial. How long do you expect this trial to go in your experience?
It should go about 6 to 7 weeks. And let's not forget, we're doing a book giveaway of Cruel Sacrifice today.
Yes, we are. Well, we already have one winner. Abraham called in, and he is our winner from yesterday. So congratulations to him. Are we going to give another book away today?
Every time I'm on with you during this trial, we'll give a book away.
All right. If you want to register for the book, the number 317-684-8444. Call us, give us your name and your number, and we will select a winner from everybody who calls in. Aphrodite Jones, we appreciate the update. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you next week.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says he's keeping his promises. It's mostly sunny and 64 on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:30. In a video he posted to X earlier this hour, Indiana Governor Mike Braun made that statement as he looks back on all he's done in his first 100 days in office. He said he would take on health care and make it more affordable.
Through executive orders and bills that have now signed into law, we've made prices more transparent and cracked down on waste, fraud, and abuse in our health care spending.
He's also signed 10 bills into law. They include a parental rights proposal and one that adds requirements for long-haul water pipeline developers. Only 2 new laws take immediate effect, with one directing the Secretary of State's office to study the scheduling of local elections and if the state should require all counties to use vote centers. Braun will be on with Hammer and Nigel this afternoon at 4 o'clock right here on WIBC. Stocks are soaring on Wall Street for a second straight day. President Trump has said U.S. and China trade tensions may calm soon. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has been up more than 1,000 points, while the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ have been up more than 3%. It looks like chimpanzees enjoy a good happy hour. New video recorded by scientists in West Africa shows wild chimps eating fermented breadfruit together. It's the first time that shared behavior has been caught on video. Researchers suggest using the alcohol for social bonding could explain why humans evolved the ability to metabolize alcohol. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct, and right now they've got an incredible way for you to save money with Universal Windows Direct's Spring Home Improvement event. Now, 3 pillars to this, and they're all going to save you cash. First of all, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No limit. That means if you need 4, you pay for 2. You need 12, you pay for 6. You can do math. You get how that works. Then on top of that, no interest until 2030. That's right, 6 years of no interest. And last but certainly not least, get a $500 bonus of your entire home improvement project. So let's review, shall we? Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No interest until 2030. $500 off your entire home improvement project. What a deal. Now, some restrictions may apply, so to get all the information and, most importantly, schedule your totally free in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574, or visit them on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com. Universalwindowsdirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
As a caregiver, remember it's important to prioritize your own physical, mental, and emotional health. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I'll explain how looking out for yourself isn't about being selfish. It's being sensible.
At Cardon Senior Living Communities, you'll find our teams share a commitment to enhancing the lifestyle and well-being of the people we serve every day at every stage of life.
You simply can't always be the best version of you on this caregiving journey. As cliche as it may sound, connecting with others who share your experience is my #1 recommendation for caregivers. You'll soon realize you're not alone, and in the process, discover a much-needed network of aid and compassion. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present voicemails.
Wait. So now that Pressel guy, who's the guy who's did the legislation that's going to toll all the roads.
Correct.
Jim Pressel, now he's wimped out about the rental cap.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, he said so as quickly as it went in, it came out just as quickly.
Okay, wait.
But he was able to get testimony on it at the State House.
So we're doing this because we got a phone call about this, but let's reset what we're talking. These people are the worst of everything. Like if you were to say, who is today's winner of Worst of Humanity, Jim Pressel, Indiana State Representative. Where's he from?
Is he the winner? He's from LaPorte.
LaPorte, okay.
Rolling Prairie?
Yeah, very nice. Okay, so Fishers came out and said we perceive a serious problem with these megacorps buying these homes in these neighborhoods. They're jacking up rental prices and the homes are not being maintained at the quality we would expect. And so we want to put a cap on the amount of rental homes that can be in any subdivision.
Yeah, the Fisher City Council, they passed this ordinance. It restricts the number of homes that could be rented in a subdivision. You've got these investors that come in, they buy the homes at an inflated price, turn them into rentals, and then the rentals are neglected on their maintenance, pretty much. Now, Fisher said, we don't want that.
Now, as an aside to this, and I've heard many realtor people say this, and this is why I said I didn't have a firm opinion on this one way or another. I am pissed off at what this idiot has done or tried to do, but I don't have a firm opinion on the issue one way or another because I've talked to several real estate people who said, well, the problem with this is now it will put the apartment building people at a huge advantage because now if you can't rent the homes, you'll be forced into these apartments.
Right.
Well, voila. Who's in the mixed-use development business, Casey? Who does construction management for mixed-use development? Oh, is it places like Envoy that's run by a guy like Scott Baldwin, who's a state attorney? Oh, okay. So I see both sides of this. My thing about bugger off is to guys like Jim Pressel, who, because the rental lobby got pissed off about this and went to him, which is very powerful, and then within a matter of days, he's like, I'm going to just throw this into the bill that would put a statewide ban on communities being able to limit the amount of rentals in their city or town.
Yeah, so what they did is they attached it to House Bill 1389.
Which was for?
RVs and food trucks.
Oh, okay. So they put this mega decision, which would affect every town and city in the state with no leeway. It wasn't like it went through committee. It wasn't like you had an advance notice of here's all this opportunity to come speak. Then it'll go to the Senate and they'll debate it and everybody get a chance to speak again. None of that. He just threw this in at the end. And now he's trying to say, oh, I was just screwing around. I didn't really mean it anyway.
It was just a little trial balloon. So at this Fisher City Hall meeting, the residents were allowed 30 minutes to speak about the rental cap. More than half of them say they favored it. There were some people who were opposed to it, but Pressel said about his bill being removed, or his amendment being removed from the larger bill, he said so as quickly as it went in, it came out. I was just trying to get testimony on it. Sometimes you're testing the water just a little bit, figure out what may be good policy, what's not so good policy, and how do you make things better.
So wait, I'm going to have you read me that quote again. So he's freaking Willy Wonka now. He's just doing experiments on the fly at the end of the legislative session.
Yes.
Can you read the quote again?
So as quickly as it went in, it came out just as quickly. Yeah, but I was able to get testimony on it. So sometimes you're testing the water just a little bit, figure out what may be good policy, what's not so good policy, and how do you make things better.
If you wanted testimony, make it a bill and put it in a committee where people can come testify. No, he tried to pull bull crap because the donor and lobbyist people who boss everybody around at the State House told him how it was going to be. And then there was outrage because people were like, this is so blatantly ridiculous that even you won't be able to hide this. And my gosh, Casey, these people are insufferable.
So the ordinance in Fishers is also going to establish a registry for landlords to make them more responsive to renters or complaints that come in. And I'm telling you, the next step after this is going to be some sort of license to be able to do it. And that's a way for them to make money.
Yeah, look, this is a decision for each community. What Fishers does or doesn't do has zero impact on where I live. If Fishers wants to cap it, great. If Fishers doesn't want to cap it, fine. If Carmel wants to cap it, great. I don't care. I will get in study this more intensely when the proposal comes to my community.
Oh, and speaking of that, let's get to our phone call.
Rental referendums or caps in the communities. Fishers has one now. Carmel's talking about it. Zionsville's talking about it. So what about Brownsburg? Well, we're a little slow in Brownsburg, so we're not talking about it yet. King Travis and the group is worried more about other things like how to, hire more police and how to raise local taxes. So anyway, just wanted to put that on your board. Hopefully you can raise some awareness with the town council, get them talking, because you know what happens. The last one to act is where everybody goes.
They're very busy. The pool's back on the agenda tomorrow night or Thursday night. Yeah, tomorrow night. Yes. So, or I'm sorry, it's a land use plan. But yes, again, there's valid arguments on both sides. Every community may have a different interpretation or opinion of this, which is the way it should work. The state has zero business being involved in this because what happens in Fishers has zero impact on me in Brownsburg, and what happens to me in Brownsburg has zero impact on someone who lives in Carmel. And let these communities make that choice for themselves.
Fishers has 240 subdivisions, and they have different levels of rental rates in the different subdivisions. Some HOAs don't allow you to do that as well. We did get a phone call yesterday from somebody who said that there was a person in their neighborhood who bought the home and then rented it out, and they ended up suing them because that was in part of their HOA rules that you're not allowed to rent it out.
Well, Carl had, the issue is the megacorps, because generally, like when you have local landlords who are renting, they usually tend to do a better job because they're entrenched people in the community and reputation still kind of matters.
Yeah.
And so it's not the home rentals, it's the lack of maintenance that come from these mega corporations. I know I've rented homes from local people and I've rented homes from a corporation. It was not even the same planet on how they handled it. And so Carl had an interesting idea. Tony's producer. He said, look, maybe the ordinance looks something like you've got to have lived in that home or have been occupied in that home for a certain period of time before it can be, rented out, right? I mean, if there's some local stability to this, because we've had these people on who experts who have talked about how these megacorps have driven up prices for everyone. Take away the fact that they don't maintain the homes oftentimes as well. That them coming in and basically poaching these homes has driven prices up for everyone, both rental and home ownership. So you got to do something. There has to be some sort of solution. I'm not saying I have the answer to this. What I am saying is that ding dong, the same guy who wants to toll all the roads, and then he's just willy-nilly about it. Well, I put a trial balloon out there, and I wanted to see. I wanted some. If you wanted testimony, I can't call him that. If you wanted testimony, make it a bill.
Yeah.
And put it through the committees and the process. All right, we gotta. Hammer's gonna join us next. There's a betting market on who the next pope is going to be.
Can't believe
and
that.
Since you are the Catholic expert of the Kendall and Casey show, you've got to help us
I'm going to
figure out
weigh
who to
in,
bet for.
give you some options.
Yes.
We'll do that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show 306. That's when we crack the mic this afternoon. Governor Mike Braun scheduled to join us in studio after 4 o'clock. Don't want to miss it. 93 WIBC.
For those at risk for Alzheimer's disease, forgetting the little things is a big deal. A local clinical research study, known as the Trailblazer ALZ 3 Addendum 7 study, is evaluating an investigational medicine for people who are at risk for developing Alzheimer's disease symptoms to see if it can help stop or slow down the appearance of memory and thinking problems associated with Alzheimer's disease. To learn more, visit lilyadresearch.com/Indy. You may be able to take part in this study if you are 65 to 80 years old and have normal memory, thinking, mood, and behavior patterns. Consider the Trailblazer ALZ 3 Addendum 7 study today. To learn more, visit lilyadresearch.com/Indy.
Spring showers might bring flowers, but they can also bring roof leaks. Strong winds, heavy rain can expose hidden damage, leading to costly water issues inside your home. And the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Water can seep into your attic, walls, and insulation, causing mold, rot, and expensive structural damage. The good news? Moss Roofing. They offer free inspections. Whether it's a small leak or a big roofing concern, their expert team will assess the damage and provide reliable, cost-effective solutions. With over 35 years of experience, Moss Roofing knows how to protect your home from the unpredictable spring weather. Don't wait for a minor drip to turn into a major repair. For top-notch roofing services, trust Moss Roofing to keep you dry this spring. For a job done right every single time, visit mossroofing.com. Call 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or go online to Moss Roofing. MOSS. mossroofing.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you.
You're listening to 93 WIBC. I'm Matt Bear. I'm excited to have a special guest joining us, Jeff Jr., the founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth.
What's up, Matt?
I hear your connection to Indiana runs pretty deep. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife used to live in Indiana, and my father and mother-in-law, they actually live in Kokomo. And my brother-in-law, he lives in Franklin. With so much family here, it was only natural to bring Trajan Wealth to greater Indiana and help all the Hoosiers plan for a better financial future.
I also know you and your wife served our country in the Marine Corps. Would you say the Marine Corps helped with the financial business you were in?
Unequivocally, yes. I completely credit the Marine Corps with most all of the intangible qualities such as leadership, attitude, willingness to learn.
Trajan Wealth is a family-run, veteran-owned financial fiduciary. Call them today, 317-480-4040, 317-480-4040.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
Did you hear?
A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-973-9819. And you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9819. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-9819.
Surprise! Your expenses this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Politics, punchlines, and pure WIBC. The Mashup Podcast pulls the day's best moments from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, and drops them in one place. New episodes each weekday. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, it's time to bet on the Pope.
I can't believe you guys are doing this. Woo! Cracks me up. But you're not the only ones. Apparently, a lot of people are considering this, huh? You've got odds and everything?
Hammer is here. Jason Hammer, hello.
I'm ready for this because overseas betting accounts, you can bet on a lot of stuff that you can't do here in the United States. Like overseas, like Bet Online, whatever various sites you use, you can already bet on the 2028 U.S. presidential election. They've got odds. They've got favorites. By the way, J.D. Vance is the front runner. But you can also bet on who's going to be the next pope. Listen, Poping ain't easy, and we're here to break it down for you in a way that makes it easy for everybody if you want to open up an overseas account.
Yes, and I am not Catholic. Hammer is not Catholic. We don't know any of these people.
Which means you're not eligible to be a pope.
But this is very similar to with golf on the Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting podcast or racing. I know nothing about racing. IndyCar, Hammer, who should I bet on for the 500? Golf, Hammer, Rob, who should I bet on for the Masters? You are the Catholic expert of the Kendall and Casey show.
I'm not an expert. I am Catholic.
That's right. You know these people, or you should know some of them.
Okay, so any baptized Catholic male is eligible to become pope, and only cardinals under 80 can vote in the conclave.
So wait, it's like Speaker of the House. You don't have to be a cardinal to be a pope? Like I could theoretically...
No, you could be a bishop.
But I don't. But I mean, do you have to be anything?
You could be a priest. Any
and with
baptized
the mail-in
Catholic
ballots,
male.
Mail-in ballots means Joe Biden could become the Pope
That's
in
right.
theory, right?
That is true.
He always
J.D.
talks about
Vance
his
could.
Catholic faith, even though he would love him some good old-fashioned on-demand abortion. All right, let's get down to brass tacks here. This is based on the odds that I've seen from various overseas sports betting outlets.
Okay.
And again, just like in America, you can shop around and find the best number. Not all books are the same, right? Okay, so the front runner right now, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. He's the Vatican's Secretary of State. I'm seeing him listed anywhere from plus 200 to plus 250.
So what that means is for every $100 you bet, you would get $200 to $250.
2 to 1.
Yeah, 2 to 1.
2 to
That's
1.
a pretty heavy favorite.
Right. So plus 200, but you got to keep in mind, it's also like golf and racing to where even if you're the favorite, there's a lot of competitors underneath of you, and anything can happen
Okay,
here.
he's from Italy. He's 70 years old, and he's seen as steady but lacks pastoral experience.
Okay.
But he's second command at the Vatican, and he's a career diplomat who's
Correct.
consistently risen above the turbulence, making him like the perfect yes man for the Catholic Church.
What's this guy's name?
That's Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Secretary of State of the Vatican, and he's your clubhouse front runner at plus 200.
So he's basically like the Scotty Scheffler of Pope betting.
Correct. He's got the same kind of political and diplomatic views as Pope Francis. Now, if you believe he was the woke Pope, here comes part 2, right? So that's the front runner. Now, there's another guy that's pretty close, Luis Antonio Tangle, rising up to around plus 250. So he's right underneath of the front runner here, just underneath of Parolin. Tagnall is from the Philippines.
Yep.
He's considered a more progressive option.
He was Pope Francis's protege. So that would be a continuation of the same teaching.
Wait,
of Pope
more liberal
Francis.
than the current Pope?
Yes.
Holy smokes.
So you know how you hear right now, man, when George Soros dies, his son's going to be the one funding these people, and he's way more radical than him. This is what you got here. The understudy is way more radical than the lunatic itself.
Wow.
He's also young. He's 67.
So that's young?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in poping, it seems like it. He's got pastoral and Vatican experience.
Asian heritage, and that's something they've not seen.
There's never been an Asian Pope?
I don't believe there's been an Asian Pope. So if they're looking to go super woke and also check a few boxes here, maybe this is the guy. Now, I'm seeing a lot of chatter about Angelo Scola. I am fading Scola, okay? We are fading Angelo Scola. You got to remember, back in 2013, he was the favorite when the conclave met, but his age at the time kind of put him out of contention. So he's 83 years old right now, putting him over the 80 age limit to vote in the conclave. So if he's too old to vote in the conclave, why is the conclave going to say we're going to hitch our wagon to an 83-year-old guy?
He's like the Evan Bayh. Remember, every year there was a vice presidential pick. It was like Evan Bayh. He's the guy. It's his time. He checks out, and he never got picked. This is Angelo Scola. He's our Evan Bayh.
Consider him Bernie Sanders, too, right? You had a time where everybody thought you were going to be the guy, but for one reason or the other, that time is gone, and you missed your window of opportunity.
Are there any Americans? We got any Americans in the running?
No, but I am going to give you my my two long shots here, if you want to do this.
Are these the degenerate specials of the Pope betting?
The total long shot is. The whole segment, I believe, is a degenerate special. There's been chatter, there's been scuttlebutt that they're looking for somebody from Africa to be the new
Robert
Pope.
Serra. Is that who you're saying?
No. Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. We're talking about Cardinal Fridolin Mbongo.
Who?
The Archbishop of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
What's his name?
Cardinal Fridolin Mbongo.
Is he black?
He's plus 600.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
I don't think there's ever been a black pope.
There has been, but it was like 1,000 years ago.
Really? There was a black pope? Huh.
He is the one that's been trying to lead the charge to get a pope from Africa. The Catholic Church, from what I understand, feels like that's an untapped market where they can build up the base there.
I said that's what you should look towards because I think that's a real possibility.
Yeah, you did. She said that yesterday. She said Africa is where she thinks the pope is coming out of.
So that's a plus 600 play, 6-1 on your bets.
What's his name?
That would be Cardinal Fridolin Mbongo.
Mbongo. Sounds like the guy that played for IU, Mbako.
Now, this guy, it's a long shot, but I love his name so much. He is the degenerate special. Are you ready?
Very good.
My dark horse at plus 1,200 to be the next pope.
Yeah.
Cardinal Peter Battista Pizzaballa. He's the Latin patriarch of Jerusalem. Cardinal Pizzaballa, da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, no.
Pastoral candidate who's spoken out about the Israel-Hamas war. He's visited Gaza during this conflict.
Oh,
He's picked a side. Pizzaballa.
I love this. This has been such a great community. You know, we're required to do so much community service on this radio station. This has been such a great community service.
I want to start calling myself Cardinal Pizzaballa.
Well, you got a big show this afternoon.
The governor is going to be here.
Yeah.
Governor Mike Braun scheduled to be in studio with us at 4. We've got 15 minutes with the gov, and we'll see what we can do.
All right. Thanks, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey.
Pizzaballa.
Promises made, promises kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high-turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower. Future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. Man, Life Church has an awesome event coming up this Sunday, April the 27th. All Life Church locations are going to be hosting Silly Safari. Silly Safari is the leading provider of live animal conservation education in Indiana. And this could be your kids' opportunity to learn about some really cool creatures God created and get the chance to interact with them personally. Now, Silly Safari is going to be at all 4 of Life Church's campuses across central Indiana: Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton this Sunday, April 27th. Learn more about it all on the web at lifechurchin.com.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our home has had Rhino Shield for 10 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, Indiana's Governor Mike Braun spoke this morning. You'll hear what that was all about and why. Why sexual consent has been a big topic at the State House lately. Those 2 stories and much more coming up after Fox News Radio. You are listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
The Dow is back over 40,000. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News surging up nearly 1,000 points the day after a little over 1,000-point gain as investors react to President Trump easing concerns by the Federal Reserve Chairman saying he has no plans to fire Jerome Powell. And there's another report from the Wall Street Journal this morning detailing a potential de-escalation in the trade war with China. President said to be considering planning to reduce tariffs on imports.
President Trump's seemingly softened tone comes as President Xi warns that tariffs could impact the world economic order and undermine the rights and interests of all countries. The president touting his strong relationship with the Chinese president and saying he thinks a deal will come pretty quickly. As you noted, markets seem to like that, but the president still isn't saying whether he's speaking directly with Xi or whether negotiations with China have officially begun.
Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble at the White House. At the Vatican, it's the first of 3 days of public viewings as people mourn Pope Francis. He's now lying in state in his casket at St. Peter's Basilica. Fox's Alex Hogan's there.
Crowds began gathering early this morning for the public to begin paying their respects. And Vatican officials were allowed to say their goodbyes starting Monday evening, the day that he died. We know the cardinals are expected to meet later this afternoon to plan more details of the events to come.
The funeral will be on Saturday. We expect an update in a few minutes about the wildfire burning near the Jersey Shore. It's torched 8,500 acres.
Crews are still working around the clock to knock down the flames in what's being called the Jones Road wildfire, which investigators say is threatening more than 1,300 structures.
Fox's CB Cotton is near the fire in Ocean County, New Jersey, says none of those buildings have burned.
Thankfully, all evacuation orders have been lifted, but at one point last night, 3,000 people were told to leave their homes and fast.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Promises he's made are promises he says he's kept. Mostly sunny and 67 degrees in downtown Indy. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Indiana Governor Mike Braun said this morning in a video he posted to X that he's making his state a better place to live.
And we've kicked off our Make Indiana Healthy Again initiative with 9 executive orders to help Hoosiers live longer, healthier lives.
He also says he's delivering on school choice and making the state more fiscally sound. He has signed 10 bills into law so far, with the end of the legislative session expected in less than a week. Braun will also be on with Hammer and Nigel at 4 o'clock this afternoon right here on WIBC. A debate on sexual consent and a sex education bill at the State House. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The school boards could choose whether to do that or not.
Republican State Senator Gary Byrne, who wrote the bill, spoke about possible
rule changes to it. Byrne also wants schools to approve sex ed lessons that include showing an ultrasound video of a pregnancy.
For the consent, it protects both boy and girl, man and woman.
State Representative Tanya Paff added the rule requiring schools to teach consent, which had been removed for a short time, but now it's back in the bill. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
A student at Perry Township Schools overdosed on Tuesday while using a THC vape on the grounds of a high school. School leaders say the vape they were using contained fentanyl, and the student didn't know that. 2 people have been arrested, and the student is recovering. The teacher at an elementary school in Brownsburg accused in a 2023 incident where a student with special needs was forced to eat his own vomit has avoided prison time. But Sarah Seymour can't be a teacher in Indiana anymore. She agreed to surrender her teaching license as part of a plea deal that takes her charge down to a misdemeanor. The case against another assistant teacher has not been resolved yet. Even though his team is up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle wants his team to know the work is far from over.
Giannis and Lillard are 2 forces of nature out there. We just got to find a way to do a better job, and try to limit Giannis a little bit more.
Carlisle speaking about Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. Giannis scored 34 points in the loss Tuesday night, while Lillard chipped in with 14. Games 3 and 4 are in Milwaukee. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 11:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Concrete Floor Coatings. You already know if your garage concrete has stains and cracks, or you've got a bad epoxy job, it makes your whole garage look bad. Guaranteed, a Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your garage in just 1 day. But did you know? We transform concrete patios and concrete pool decks beautifully. Our patios and pool decks are guaranteed and turn out way better than new, at a fraction of the cost of replacing them. And we make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly and apply your gleaming new Comer & Cross proprietary guaranteed finish. If you call us within the next 10 minutes for your quick and easy estimate, you'll get a free Samsung 70-inch flat screen TV or $500 credit. Free with every garage floor, pool deck, or patio we transform. Call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR now. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
President Trump's economic policies, they're starting to weigh on one sector, and that is the U.S. ad market. This area was just starting to stabilize after the pandemic. Those years were pretty volatile. But now, Madison Ave getting a little skittish. And last year had the fastest ad spend growth since 1983. But now, because of the tariffs and everything that's going on, advertisers are starting to close up the wallet.
Isn't it fascinating how nobody knows what's real in our economy? Like, let's face it, the stock market, because this is the fascinating thing now. They're like, the Biden people or whatever, oh, the stock market's gone down under Trump. That was never real. All that money came infused from printed money during COVID. It had to go somewhere. The smart money recognized inflation is going to drive the cost of everything up. The only shot you've got to beat inflation is to do it with the stock market. And so a bunch of that money went into Wall Street, and that was really the conversation of the election, which is how Main Street, and it's been a conversation in this country for 20 plus years, about how Main Street is not reflecting what you're seeing in the Dow Industrial Average, and how the nuts and bolts of a society, which are small businesses and merchants, are not feeling the same level of boom that your mega corporations are feeling. And it really is a reflection of our society. When you think about how rich the very tippy top people are, you think about how, and look, if you earn your money honestly, good on you. I'm not a person that believes in wealth caps or wealth distribution. What I do recognize, though, is that societies are built on, strong societies are built on a thriving middle class. And what we have seen is the gap as the wealthy continue to get far more wealthy and the middle class are being pushed down out of the middle class, and it's creating this huge void between peoples in our society, and that's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing this with business too, and so I think my point of all that was to say what was happening wasn't real. But what's happening now is also not real.
Right. So you had all this growth in 24, but that was accelerated from the free money giveaway. And now you've got all of these ad markets that are being a little nervous, scared, and that's kind of going to the polar opposite.
Nobody was better to the super rich than the Democrats. And I think you have seen this as sort of an admission from some people in the Democrat Party about the reset of the people trying to reset the Democrat Party. Many, many billionaires, way more billionaires gave to Kamala Harris than they did Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats, Biden, were great for the tippy top people. And part of why Trump won was the amount of people, especially in these swing states, who simply, they look at this and go, my life is not getting any better. The problem is it's not simple to undo government policy. It's not simple to do. The higher up you go in the food chain, local, state, federal, the harder it is to undo the thing. And so with Trump, he has come in and, for better or worse, decided whether it was Doge or whether it was the tariffs, he's gonna take the flamethrower to everything at the same time and try to get it sorted out as fast as he possibly can versus some sort of incremental approach. And so you're seeing a counter correction to the inflated values on Wall Street that also isn't a reflection of reality. And you probably won't know where our economy really is for another 2 years because everything is just in flux.
So there are some major ad agencies that are on Madison Avenue, and they're downgrading all of their buys to the tune of $45 billion. And you know who this is going to hurt the most is your local TV stations.
Yeah.
Because that's where they're cutting a lot of their advertising. And you're talking about your cars. And there's even some brands like Temu and Shein that are, being subjected to these Chinese brands that are being subjected to tariffs, and they're pulling back. But you've also got restaurants and packaged goods that are being affected by inflation as well.
Well, you're spot on with this. So that was my point, is anytime you do the thing, right? When guys campaign, they're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Boy, aren't we going through that right now in our state, where somebody came out and said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
What are you talking about?
And then the ramifications of this and that really hit home. And what you have quickly begun to realize is that there are all these, it's easy to say we got to take on China, and we have a huge trade imbalance with China, and they're abusing us as a country. Perfect. No problem with that. Accurate. But when you instantaneously try to fix it in the moment versus, it's like a hurricane. Any person who has ever lived in an area where there are hurricanes recognize, and you've lived in Florida, so you know this, the hurricane itself is a thing, but there's all these mini tornadoes or tornadoes that pop up inside the hurricane that do immense damage. And oftentimes they'll do more damage than the hurricane itself. So you have tornadoes, if you can picture this, inside of a hurricane. And you sort of think of those like the hurricane is the tariff and the damage that's sort of doing to the economy with China. But then there's these little mini economies that exist, and those are the tornadoes. And so not only is there just the natural, hey, it affects everybody in the country, then there's, like you're talking about, these ad economies and things like that are dramatically affected by it. And that's why I'm an incrementalist fan on things like this, because you've got to try to not upset the entire apple cart while trying to fix the issue.
Well, we've talked about it a few times. It's like economic whiplash, right? One day it's up, one day it's down. You've called it a yo-yo. But if you're in media or in marketing, this is going to be one of those little tornadoes within the hurricane, and you're being affected by this. Now, it has been, last year was really driven by the election because a lot of money was spent
Oh, sure. Gravy train, right?
On that.
Sure.
Right. And you do have an Olympics that is coming up, although Gavin Newsom is trying to rebrand that. And you've had some major advertisers that are now pulling out of the 2028 Olympics that are going to be held in Los Angeles. Gavin Newsom was trying to call it the Recovery Games as a rebrand. But, I mean, they're at $7.15 billion at risk for those Olympics. But there's one area, and this announcement came yesterday, when the FDA commissioner announced that the FDA is removing petroleum-based food dyes from U.S. food and medication. Because now they did say that this doesn't have to take effect for a couple years.
You're all going to die, but you won't not have to die.
We're going to give you a
years.
chance to ramp it up. But when you consider all of the big food has been relying on all these dyes and kid-friendly coloring for years, well, is their packaging going to be changing? Is their branding going to be changing? Are they going to have to reintroduce themselves to, new markets? Because when you go to the grocery store, you're used to seeing it one way.
Sure.
And now it's going to look different. So is that a potential area where there's going to be a lot of new media and marketing?
We have a lot of instability in this country, and one of the things that I think is ahead of us is an issue with food instability, because we are eliminating on the regular. Look at Central Indiana, all the once beautiful cornfields, bean fields that fed a nation, and they go away. And when those fields, those local growers go away, it puts more reliance on mega producers to make up for that void. Somebody has to do it. And this dates back to Richard Nixon in the 1970s, when he was the first president to push away from local family farming and put onus and incentive on mass crop producers. And we've got to have a major conversation about this in the not too distant future, because the more stuff you plow down, somebody else has to pick up that burden. And just the straight reality of this is a mega producer cannot grow with the same care and attentiveness and, quite frankly, in the same healthy manner that a local family farmer would.
Well, sure. It's anything when you get, it's about scale, right?
That's right.
When you're producing more, you're sacrificing the quality.
You think about, and then we'll wrap this up. You think about, here's the best example of this that I can give. When you go to, like, on a lot of main streets that are still left, you will see these little clothing shops, the knick-knack shops, where a lot of the stuff is handmade or it's printed, and it's more expensive, right? It's more, but it's better. It's a better quality of shirt. The clothes last longer. And when you compare what you can buy at, say, Walmart. And so what you're seeing in our food production is there's fewer and fewer Main Street high-quality shops, and there's a lot more Walmart, and you're still getting a shirt, right? You're still getting something, and many times it'll end up being cheaper, but is it better for you? The way the clothes don't last? Or it's not as nice of a quality? The answer is no. And so that's the trade-off we're having in this country. We've done this to ourselves, and it doesn't seem like there's any strong plan or desire to turn the car around and go back.
So citrus red 2 and orange B are some immediate targets. Red dye 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, blue number 1 and 2, and green number 3. Those sound delicious, don't they? Like, why? I don't know. California, Utah, West Virginia, they have already begun banning certain food dyes, and so the rest will soon follow.
By the way, I did want to clarify, since we're talking about health, I had my yearly examination yesterday, and my doctor seems to think that pending death by politician, I will be around for another 365 days. Now, that doesn't...
What is that, death by politician?
Well, we were laughing because I do have a list. If I ever disappear or end up floating face down in a Monon of
suspects?
a list of prime suspects, and my doctor, who is a great guy, he's a pretty well-connected Republican. We went over my list yesterday.
Yeah.
And
Did he agree with it?
Oh, yes. He thought the list was he knows all of these people, many of them personally. And by the way, I love my doctor. He's phenomenal. I was having this conversation with him yesterday because he knows what I do, obviously. And we were talking, he's like, I saw you on the list today and I was very excited. And we spent probably 10 minutes talking about, I'm like, am I keeping someone else from getting medical attention?
He said, no, I saw it was you. So I marked 40 minutes.
And I was laughing about that. I said, well, I bet you can't do this with other people. He goes, oh, no. He goes, I've lost patience before over like public posts I've made. And I was like, really? He's like, oh yeah, people leave a doctor, not anything you did as a doctor. Oh no. He goes, I've lost people before over my public,
his political leanings.
And I was like, that's crazy to me that you would, if your doctor's doing a good job, that you would potentially go to a not so good doctor over their political affiliation.
Well, I don't know. Look at everything that happened during COVID and the vaccines, and if you're not agreeing with somebody,
but I'm saying if you are agreeing with them and you think they're doing a good job providing medical care for you, that they're whatever their political opinion, not in any way. It's like he's walking into the exam room and giving reciting a Trump speech or something,
wearing a MAGA hat.
I mean, it's crazy, right?
It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC. By the way, glad you're doing good.
When you wake up,
you understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
When you work,
as long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
When you drive home,
Is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
Traffic when you need it.
Stopped on 465 again.
And updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
Spring's here and it's time for a new patio. Indy Decorative Concrete is offering free demolition. Offer ends April 30th. Visit IndyDecorativeConcrete.com for details.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at joynerhomes.com.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Greetings from our agency, your Indiana Health Insurance Pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for making us national sales leaders once again for 2024. Crazy sign-up periods are at last over. If you were told the ACA and you know it's still Obamacare was your only option, that's just not true. If you were told since you've signed up already, you must keep your ACA program for a year, that's not true either. If you do not have serious health problems, and God forbid make a living wage, the ACA is your worst option, and it can be canceled at any time. We feature coverages guaranteed age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. Self-employed, early retiree, or ACA victim, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-563-0868 or rragency.org. As always, God bless America, peace through strength, and common sense government.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Trust employee owned. B-Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to be.
And we roll clean out of sight.
I'd rather just listen to Bob Seger than talk about the General Assembly. Just let it go, Kev. That's fine.
Me too. It's a good motorcycle song.
Felt so good to me.
All right. You know, I saw Bob Seger, well, it's been 10 years ago in concert. It's great.
Really?
Yeah. Then he quit.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite songs, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bike song.
It is a total bike song.
It's a biker song.
Roll
That's
me
you.
away.
Okay, so the Generals, my gosh, these people are horrific.
What'd they do now?
So,
or what didn't they do? I don't know.
So this bill, like these people just, I don't know what it's like to be a grown man and be born without a ballular area, but I think we have several candidates to ask in the Indiana Senate. So this makes no. I mean, these people are they're just chickens. They're chicken its. That's what they are. They're chicken its because. This bill was presented, which is this totally common sense bill. It says there's one election in the state of Indiana that's unlike any of our other elections, and that is the school board. That's ridiculous. They spend more money than any agency of local government. They're the most divisive agency of local government. They get more attention than any other agency of local government. And for some reason, unlike the surveyor and the coroner, you don't have to declare a party affiliation. So you got to have a view on how to deal with dead bodies or survey land, but not the school board. It's utterly ridiculous. So the Senate passes. Now, initially they'd put J.D. Prescott, who's a complete loser, in charge of the school board bill in the House. And the Senate looked at that and was like, this guy can't be in charge of anything. Look at how everything he touches just turns to garbage. So we'll take it ourselves. They pass a pretty good bill in the Senate, which mirrors how the election should be done. There's a primary. There's a general election. You run in a primary. You say I'm a Republican, a Democrat. Which now there's people fighting this because this is how liberals get elected in these suburban school districts.
Right.
They don't. It's all Republicans, mayors, whatever, except for the school board. There's all these liberals on the school board because they don't have to declare party affiliation. Senate passes the bill. It's good. Prescott goes, well, okay, because nobody wants to deal with me, I'll just take the Senate bill and present it as my own bill, right? Good move. Smart move. Then the House goes, well, we're not doing that. We're going to have partisan elections, but you don't have to run in a primary. So you can conceivably, for the same school board seat, have 9 Republicans running. Okay, that's not nearly as good as what the Senate did, but it's still much better than what we have. So it goes back to the Senate. Should be a rubber stamp, right? They didn't make it worse.
Right.
They made it less contentious. And now the Senate for like 3 weeks has been like, I don't know if we want to do that or not.
That's so interesting. I remember WIBC's Tony Kinnett offered testimony on that, and it sounded like it was pretty simple to pass this bill. And
well, the overall question, Casey, is why are school board elections different from every other election?
Well, right. And they shouldn't be.
No, whatever the rules are the rules for every election. There's zero reason, unless by design, to get people elected who could not get elected if they had to play by the rules everybody else does.
Right. You don't want to be surprised by somebody's politics who is teaching your children.
And so the Senate bill was fine. It was basically perfect. Our man, Carlin Yoder, was in charge of that. That's probably why it was. He led the charge, and they got it through the Senate. Now, the House, as usual, they can't do anything that involves, testicular fortitude. So they had to water it down, and Prescott couldn't get it done as is, but that's common for him. So not surprising. Anything he's in charge of, it's like him and Lucas. It's why does weed never go anywhere? Because Lucas is the face of it. So not surprised. But there was something, right? So you'd think this would be a rubber stamp going back to the Senate, and now for the 3 days in a row or 2 days in a row, initially they said, no, we're dissenting on this bill. Then they changed their mind and said, well, we're going to vote to concur it. And now for 2 days in a row, according to Nikki Kelly, they've tabled it again.
So they're not voting on it. Again.
This is the most...
They're done. They just want to be done with this session. That's what it is.
But who are you afraid of? What big bad wolf in the Senate? How would you not vote for a bill that is less controversial than the bill you've already passed?
Yeah. I'm just telling you, they're like, they've got senioritis at this point.
What is going on here? I mean, then just vote to concur it. Be done with it. Go home. The best thing we could have done from the beginning is if all you people just never showed up to begin with.
Well, I asked Micah earlier in the week when we talked to him, you think they're going to be done on Thursday? And he was like, I don't think so. I don't know. They're like choosing not to vote on anything.
Yeah, they're petrified.
They're like, their sessions are like 40 minutes long, and they're like, yeah, we're done today.
And I get...
Okay.
Look, Casey, I get things that relate to the budget right now. They're just paralyzed in fear because they have no idea what to do because they've screwed the budget up so bad. This doesn't have anything to do with the budget.
Right.
It simply should, school board elections, be like every other election in the state. Should we treat school board elections the same way we treat having to look at dead bodies? This is a no-brainer, and they can't even get this right.
Nope.
They can't even get this right.
And you seem surprised. The most shocking part is that you're surprised by that.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm pissed off.
Yeah. You're listening to Kendall Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Looking back at the progress he says he's made. I'm John Herrick, and this report is brought to you by Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 11:30.
Indiana students are preparing to be Indiana's workforce of the future.
That's Indiana Governor Mike Braun speaking in a video he posted to X this morning.
Our state police have increased drug intervention efforts and are seeing massive results.
He also said he's proud of delivering a property tax cut to most homeowners, farmers, and businesses. A shooting this morning in Lawrence, and a man has died. The Lawrence Police Department says the victim was found dead at the scene, and a suspect was detained. A road closure for sewer repairs at the intersection of Stop 11 Road and Shelby Street on the south side of Indianapolis was supposed to be done last week, but Citizens Energy said this morning that repair would be done by the end of this week because of the complexity of the repair. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Spring showers might bring flowers, but they can also bring roof leaks. Strong winds, heavy rain can expose hidden damage, leading to costly water issues inside your home. And the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Water can seep into your attic, walls, and insulation, causing mold, rot, and expensive structural damage. The good news? Moss Roofing. They offer free inspections. Whether it's a small leak or a big roofing concern, their expert team will assess the damage and provide reliable, cost-effective solutions. With over 35 years of experience, Moss Roofing knows how to protect your home from the unpredictable spring weather. Don't wait for a minor drip to turn into a major repair. For top-notch roofing services, trust Moss Roofing to keep you dry this spring. For a job done right every single time, visit mossroofing.com. Call 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or go online to Moss Roofing. MOSS. mossroofing.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you.
For those at risk for Alzheimer's disease, forgetting the little things is a big deal. A local clinical research study known as the Trailblazer ALS 3 Addendum 7 study, is evaluating an investigational medicine for people who are at risk for developing Alzheimer's disease symptoms to see if it can help stop or slow down the appearance of memory and thinking problems associated with Alzheimer's disease. To learn more, visit lilyadresearch.com/Indy. You may be able to take part in this study if you are 65 to 80 years old and have normal memory, thinking, mood, and behavior patterns. Consider the Trailblazer ALS 3 Addendum 7 study today. To learn more, visit lilyadresearch.com/Indy.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Okay, I gotta get something off my chest here about these lawmakers.
Yeah, what's that?
But before we do this, I know I've asked this question before, but I'm going to ask it again.
Yeah.
We have all these TVs on in the studio.
I know.
So we can monitor the news. And for some reason, it's always on this station that Drew Barrymore's show is on.
Because what breaking news is going to happen on that show?
Well, I don't even know what channel she's on, but I will continue to ask this question. Who is the person who's giving an hour of their day every day to watch Drew Barrymore do? Looks like she's doing cooking tips with some. I don't even know who that woman is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's not like I don't know it's not like, oh my gosh,
Gordon Ramsay.
Well, I was thinking a woman. I don't know, famous women for 300, Bob. It's not like Sydney Sweeney is on there doing cooking tips or whatever. I don't know. Margot Robbie. Who are some other famous actresses? Anne Hathaway. I don't know. Fill in the blank. I don't even know who that person is. And it's Drew Barrymore dressed like a man.
Yeah, she's got a suit and a tie on.
So
and her hair pulled back tight.
How? Like, why?
It does look very androgynous, doesn't it?
Somebody in Hollywood, I guess that's where it's at, said, you know what would be a great show? Drew Barrymore with a bunch of food in front of her talking with some woman that the average person doesn't know while she's dressed like a man.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, who would have this on would be maybe like a stay-at-home mom during nap time. Like the kids are napping. And
how big of a market is that?
Just happens to be on.
That's your whole business plan? We're gonna market the show to napping moms of kids napping?
Well, I mean, consider the time that it's on. It's almost noon.
She was great. She was so cute in The Wedding Singer.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at her.
50 First Dates.
Yeah, and obviously E.T. when she was very little.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You got to know that she has seen some stuff because she was like in, the clubs when she was just a young child.
Yeah, she's had a rough life.
Yeah.
She's also been married. Oh, she was married to Tom Green. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she was married to Tom Green for 1 year. Okay. So last segment we talked about this school board bill that would make school board elections like every other election in the state where you just got to step up, whatever you are, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, and say, I am this, and then you go run. And this is the second or third day in a row that the Senate has refused to concur on this House vote on the bill, on a bill they've already voted on, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And now it comes out the two senators are missing, Mike Young and Blake Dorio. They're listed as quote-unquote excused.
Yeah.
Well, the bill technically only made it by one vote last time. It was 26-20. You got to get 25 plus you got to get 50% plus one. So they need both of those guys. They both voted for it last time. My question is, it's the last week of Senate.
Yeah.
There's a budget crisis.
Mm-hmm. Where are you?
What did you have a dentist appointment?
Mm-hmm.
Did you not look on the itinerary and thought, oh, that's the last week of session? Probably ought not schedule something. Like, where are these people? Are they dying?
And it says they're excused?
Excused. Nikki Kelly reported them as excused.
Did they bring in a note?
Like, can you imagine if at 8:50 I just said to David Wood, our boss, hey, I'm out of here, man.
I just don't want to come in today.
Yeah, that's excused.
I got stuff going on.
These guys make $70,000-ish a
right.
year.
Well, like I said, they've got senioritis, and today is their senior skip day. They didn't want to come.
Like Mike Young, unless you're dead, shame on you.
Yeah.
Blake Dorito, unless you're dead,
you should be there.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even, and look, I mean literally dead. Like if you're sick, show up, stand in the corner. We were all told to mask during COVID. Put your mask on. Like, am I just being me at this, or do I have a right to be pissed off?
Yes, you're being you, but I agree. These guys make $70,000 a year for a part-time job.
Yeah,
and they're not even showing up.
And I generally like most of Mike Young's votes, but come on, dude. Like, what are you doing that you're quote unquote excused to not be there to vote, especially at any time? At any time, your job between the months of January and April, and you only got to work 4 days a week anyway.
Right?
They don't
exactly.
work on Fridays.
Exactly. So they signed up for us. They said, "Pick me. I want this job. I want to do this," and yet they're not. They're not doing it.
But what's the punishment? Mike Young has been there since the earth was young, since Drew Barrymore was a child, literally.
There is none. I mean, clearly we've seen this time and time again. It's the same people who keep getting reelected.
Let's see. Has Mike Young been there since Drew Barrymore was in E.T.? Let's see this. Senator Mike Young. What year did E.T. come out? Was it 83?
I believe so.
Is that right? I think he's been there.
82, 83.
Let's see. What year did he was elected in 86.
Okay.
So no.
Not quite as long. E.T. was released June 11th, 1982.
Oh, 82.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he has been there since I was 2 years old. And now apparently can't make it to work.
Right.
All right.
Abdul's going to join us.
Yes, and we have some big news in the, hopefully the end of the dishonest Gabe Whitley saga.
Okay.
The government has issued a recommendation on what should happen to him.
Oh, boy. We're going to hear about it coming up from 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the FDA ends food dyes, and Yale needs itself just a bit of a shakeup. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Buthan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Your future holds so much potential. The question is, are you planting the right seeds today to make it flourish? At Howard Bailey Financial, we strive to help you create a retirement plan that can adapt to your evolving needs, offering guidance to bring you clarity, confidence, and purpose along the way. Whether you're just beginning or refining your financial strategy, we're here to support you. Let's grow something lasting together. Text GROW to 888-262-1104 to start planning for your future full of possibility. That's GROW to 888-262-1104. Take the first step today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Watching your parents get older is something you never get used to. You know it's going to happen, but it still doesn't seem right, especially when the time comes to consider moving a parent into a nursing home. It's a hard decision for you and them, and when that's the right choice, there's the added stress of what to do with the house. Simple Quarters understands and can help relieve some of that stress. They're a Christian company who is compassionate about what you and your parent are going through. They can help with the logistics of selling the home. They'll buy it as is, no need for repairs, cleaning, staging, or showings. No catch. It's one less thing for you to worry about. Simple Quarters, a Christian company dedicated to helping families through life's transitions. If you're facing the challenge of selling a home due to a loved one moving into an assisted living or nursing home, call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME, or go to simplequarters.com.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a D-SNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our Rhino Shield has been on for 8 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
You support them. Who supports you? Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide insight, encouragement, and resources to help you navigate a loved one's recovery on the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Listen and get support wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, to quote the great Martin Luther King Jr., the arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Or eventually you get what you deserve.
There you go. It's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Look who it is. He's an author. He's a broadcaster. The owner and operator of IndyPolitics.org, Abdul Hakim Shabazz. Hello.
Hello, my friend. How's it going this morning?
Okay, so you have a big new report up at IndyPolitics.org, and it is, we talked about this at State House Happenings. I feel like we're nearing the season finale of a 2.5-year story plot, and that is with our old pal, failed congressional candidate dishonest Gabe Whitley. You have a report up at Indy Politics that the federal government has issued a sentencing recommendation in his campaign finance fraud case.
Yes. Now, just to get our audience up to speed real quick, here's the 30-second Cliff Notes version.
Gabe Whitley ran for Congress, lost, came in 5th place, lost to Jennifer Pace, who died. And in the process of all that, he filed fraudulent campaign finance reports. Now, this is federal. This is different from what he did with me, put my house online. That's state charges. So we'll set the state charges aside for right now. This is all the federal stuff. And last month, he pled guilty to campaign finance fraud. And so now we're going through the sentencing phase. And as part of the sentencing phase goes, the government, they have a formula that they use. They put together a memorandum, and they submit the memorandum to the court like, Your Honor, here's what we recommend Mr. Whitley serve in his time. And the memorandum, which I saw yesterday, and normally it was a bit surprising because normally sentencing memorandums are confidential. They're not released to the public. And so when I went on Pacer the other night, and it's like, that's kind of odd.
This is a website where federal court documents are uploaded?
Yeah, just like my case for state stuff, Pacers for federal.
I just want to make sure people didn't think you went to the Indiana Pacers game and found this.
And I saw the sentencing memorandum online. I'm like, that's kind of odd. Then I read it, like, holy. Well, I said crap. I didn't say crap. I said a couple other four-letter words. I was like, wow, 6 months is what they're asking for.
So this is interesting for a variety of reasons. One, I think what's most fascinating, and you have the whole report up at indypolitics.org, you can read the government document, is just the scathing analysis of this guy and who he is. Not whatever the sentencing recommendation is, but just who he is and the actions he's taken. And I read that and I thought, wow, it's pretty rare I'm ever complimentary of the government. But boy, did they get it right with this guy.
Yeah, the government, they did not pull any punches on this one. Now, granted, the government, they were professional. Don't get me wrong. They didn't say anything. They didn't make any sort of extrajudiciary statements that you could use in court later on. But the government, they were serious. They were matter of fact, and they said, hey, we're not playing with this guy. And like I said, it's up in Indy Politics, and what they wrote was like, wow, I had to read it a couple of times.
Yeah,
like,
to make sure it wasn't a Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
Bit. All right, so I want to read part of this, and you've got, again, the whole thing up at indypolitics.org. The defendant's conduct was calculated and intentionally designed to create the appearance that he was a legitimate candidate for office with the financial support of the electorate. His filing of false reports created an illusion of credibility, and his actions were repetitive, purposeful, and manipulative. The defendant denied the public its most powerful tool for casting informed ballots, transparency.
Yep.
Then,
wow.
but wait, there's more.
There's more.
So the crazy thing about all this is, despite all the crap he pulled, if it had just been this thing, you kind of can decipher from this, the government probably wouldn't have recommended prison time. Despite all the crap he pulled and all the stuff he's done, if he'd have just over the past year taken his medicine, kept his mouth shut, he'd basically be out scot-free. Now, he'd be a convicted felon, but he'd be out.
You would be a convicted felon behind bars.
And so, but then, of course, all the stuff started with him, with the threats against you that have now got him state charges, the suing of Ryan Mears, the repetitive attacking of judges. I mean, all this stuff.
Calling an African-American judge a monkey.
Well, right. And so, as part of this document, again, the document is unbelievable. Here's what they went on to say. Since pleading guilty to the instant offense, the defendant has continued to demonstrate an utter lack of respect for the judiciary and filed multiple incendiary pleadings in ongoing state litigation. Where else they say here? Some other stuff, and then it says, such conduct from an individual who has pleaded guilty to a criminal offense only several weeks before reflects a lack of seriousness in engaging with the judicial process and suggests that a probationary sentence would be an insufficient deterrent.
Yep.
That's amazing. If the judge goes with this recommendation, Gabe Whitley will have talked himself into prison.
Yes, literally. And I think in a weird way, he probably wants to go to prison.
Well, I think he want to go until he goes.
Yeah. and trying to play this whole martyr complex, they're out to get me and blah, 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 blah. And then he wrote some more stuff on his Hoosier Inquirer website that I recommend a couple edibles when you read it because you're going to take that much for it to make some kind of sense. I mean, this isn't even a tragic story. This isn't an elected official who fell from grace and redeemed himself. This is just a really bad novel.
He's not sorry at all.
No.
And he knows what he's doing. That's the thing. Like, you had mentioned on State House Happenings, he's mentioned some sort of disability that he has. And it's like, you're filing all these things with the court. You know enough to put these things together. You created these people who don't exist. It wasn't even like it was one person. I mean, in the thing, he claimed himself as a donor and money he didn't give himself. So don't act like you didn't know what you were doing.
And he even and to show you just how messed up this is, when I was reading his column the other day, he went to the very bottom. Now, granted, I don't have any documentation of my disability, but I do have a disability. Okay, all right, that's it. We're done.
And so this is the thing, that this guy has gone out of his way to be a horrible, horrible person to a whole bunch of people. He's said horrible, horrible things about a whole host of people. Just the blatantly horrific things he said about you and these judges. And I am so thankful that the federal government at least did their research on this guy and is recommending prison for him, because it will not stop until he's behind bars.
And also, I also think what the government is doing also, that I read the plea is making an example. It's like, hey, transparency is important in our democratic process, and when you start doing things like this, there have to be consequences.
And now, the judge, so Tuesday is his sentencing, right?
Yes.
A week from yesterday. The judge does not have to take the recommendation.
No.
The judge could give him more or less.
Yeah.
What, you think the judge will just sign off on this if you had to guess?
Actually, the way with Gabe Whitley, I don't know, because who knows what could he possibly say or do between now.
Well, I'm very excited for the court hearing, because I want to know what he's saying in the court hearing, and I can't wait. Now, I'm going to go next Tuesday. You're going to go. My wife, because obviously, look, my wife is a major reason this is happening, because she spent, I would guess, hundreds of hours looking through this guy and these reports and putting this report together that ended up in your hands, which then ended up in the U.S. Attorney's hands and the FEC. And but it's crazy that had this, you and me and her, like, had we not, this guy might have gotten away with it, like a Scooby-Doo cartoon. I would have gotten away with it if it were you meddling kids.
Just pull off his mask.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that crazy? And he did himself in. If he'd have just shut up, he would have just been out in the ether.
I mean, and I don't have any problem. If someone wants to run for Congress or a public office, I'm all for it. The more voices, the better. Just, we have rules, we have a process. Just don't lie. That's all.
Yeah, so Gabe Whitley's sentencing scheduled is at 1 p.m., right?
1 p.m. on Tuesday.
And it's the federal courthouse.
Yep, right there on Ohio Street.
So we invite the public. If you'd like to come sit next to us, I know Merritt's going to come, and maybe Klopfenstein will come. It was fun last time. When he was in court with you, we went and sat in the back. Maybe we'll tailgate before the event.
Just remember, no cell phones, no recorders.
Yeah.
It's federal court.
Behave yourself.
Behave yourself. And then we go out and get drunk afterwards.
All right, Abdul Kim Shabazz, thank you.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Great job, Casey. Good job. Kevin's back. Yes, good job as always, Kevin. And most importantly, good job to you, the listener. Without you, there is no us. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Concrete Floor Coatings. You already know if your garage concrete has stains and cracks, or you've got a bad epoxy job, it makes your whole garage look bad. Guaranteed, a Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your garage in just one day. But did you know? We transform concrete patios and concrete pool decks beautifully. Our patios and pool decks are guaranteed and turn out way better than new, at a fraction of the cost of replacing them. And we make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly and apply your gleaming new Comer & Cross proprietary guaranteed finish. If you call us within the next 10 minutes for your quick and easy estimate, you'll get a free Samsung 70-inch flat screen TV or $500 credit. Free with every garage floor, pool deck, or patio we transform. Call 1